Why do you do this? Why are you like this? I love you. Don't close the door. It's gonna get really hot in here, please. My god. Oh boy. Alright, stream time. Stream begin now. I should probably actually post on YouTube or Twitter or whatever the fuck. There you go. Just post it. I'll post this on YouTube and I'll post it on Twitter, and then we can get going. And then we're going to actually continue what we were doing before, just by playing our fucking our Jedi. So there we go. So what happened last time? So like we have to go and so like the Sith are doing some bullshit. And we have to go figure out what they're doing. Like, what actually is our fucking quest? Like, the Jedi Consular, it's like, oh, the Emperor is passing around Force aids. So you have to go stop the Force aids from taking over all the Jedi Masters. Fucking Smuggler is like, oh, this guy is stolen your ship, and now he's going after this ancient treasure that you're gonna have to get. Like, fucking like fucking Inquisitor. Oh yeah, you have to go and find all these ancient fucking artifacts or whatever, like fucking so you can go dick people over, and it's just like what is the Jedi Knights? Hey Coz, what's up? What is the Jedi Knights fucking story? Yeah, the bounty hunter is like, your fucking mentor gets fucking got by Taro Blood, go compete in the Great Hunt and murder Taro Blood. I deadass cannot fucking remember what my goal is as a Jedi Knight. I straight up don't know. Like, it's... I was on Tython, I fought some asshole, I went to Coruscant, met up with my master, I got told that there was some bullshit going down in the Jedi Temple, I killed a Sith apprentice, and then what? Like, what the fuck is my quest? Like, what is my quest here? I'm doing alright, My back hurts a little bit, but... Like... My dude, I deadass do not actually know what the fuck my quest is. Like, I tried reading the blurb, like, as we were flying around. But, like... But it's like, oh, fuck it, you have to go to these planets. It's like... Does the Jedi Knight just not get her fucking quest? Oh god, I deadass don't know. Yeah, I honestly, so this is the outfit I'm wearing. It was though, it fucking was. So this is the outfit that my Jedi Knight's gonna be using. It's like the Old Republic robes. I did get a Malak set from Morbidius in the guild, but I don't think it really works for a lightsider, especially because it's the black Malak outfit. Yeah, it's a baby astromech. He's a small boy. He's a small tiny boy, and I love him, and he's a good boy. This is the one from this year. I have 3 other years. Oh yeah, I put Kira in the Revan gear, so that's the Revanite gear at the very least. Alright, so I guess, okay, do we want to go to Taris first, or do we want to go to Nar Shaddaa? I mean, I guess if we're going to be rocking the Old Republic robes, let's go to Taris. Bum, 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 bum. Now, let's see if I can remember how to fucking play the video game here. Hang on. Oh, okay, no, they're just gonna throw me into a conversation. Alright. Oh, I broke it! I broke it by... Yes! I broke it by starting combat. Fuck you, video game. Okay, one thing I'll give the Sentinel and the Marauder over Juggernaut. My god, does it look better using two lightsabers? Because Juggernaut, you're just standing there and you're like, At least the Sentinel looks kind of acrobatic.
General, I'm on Terrace. You seemed worried about this place after Ord Mantell. What's the big mystery you...
Oh yeah, I had to go to Ord Mantell for some reason.
Secrecy, but this involves someone the Empire would love to get its hands on. Angral's son, Tarnus, was the lead scientist on our advanced warfare projects. But these technologies were all invented by Dr. Nassan Godera. Dr. Godera is a genius. Calculates targeting algorithms in his head for fun.
Godera? I recognize that name from the Imperial campaign. I don't think it was the same first name, but it was the same last name.
If he's so special, why wasn't he leading things instead of Tarnus?
Dr. Godera hates the Empire. So much so he quit in protest when the Republic signed the Treaty of Coruscant. Disappeared completely. We recently discovered he's hiding on Terrace, but the swamps, predators, and city ruins are keeping us from finding him.
I remember where I heard Godera from. Godera is in the, he's in the Imperial Agent questline. Fucking, he's in the Imperial Agent questline. Fucking Dr. Loken ate him. Dr. Loken and his rat ghouls fucking killed and ate him. Oh, shit.
What did he hope to accomplish by disappearing?
I look forward to asking him that myself.
If we find him alive, then that's some bullshit, because Loken ate him.
Evidence that our missing doctor has been here for years. Reconnaissance discovered one of Godera's outposts in the swamp. It's entirely automated. Nothing but droids inside. And they're not cooperating.
Did I see Obi-Wan versus Kakashi? I did not, mostly because I don't really care about Death Battle all that much. I'm going to assume Obi-Wan won just because fucking... so Kakashi is, like, ridiculously fucking powerful with his black hole eye, but, like, Obi-Wan is also Obi-Wan fuck-mothering Kenobi. So if I was doing it, I'd say Obi-Wan would win, but he wouldn't get out of it without losing a limb. But, oh, hi, Yuri. But also, like, Death Battle just kind of fucking hates anime, so there you go.
Fair enough. I have no idea why I walked into, but just
they were asking me in the chat about the new Death Battle, Obi-Wan versus fucking Kakashi from Naruto.
Yeah, Kakashi's gonna lose just because of how they are.
Yeah, they hate anime.
Also, most of their death battles are really terrible.
Yeah, like a lot of them, like they will sometimes they'll use composite characters, sometimes they'll use them at their peak, and sometimes they'll use them at their weakest. It's fucking ridiculous. Like Ben 10 versus Green Lantern, they used Parallax Hal Jordan versus original series Ben 10. The fuck?
No. Oh,
the fuck. But the thing is, they even gave Ben Alien X and said, like, oh yeah, even with Alien X, Ben loses. When Alien X can literally draw on the power of a version of himself from every second of his existence. So he can make, so the longer Alien X exists, the more copies of himself at the maximum power he was at in that second to help him. And Alien X is a being whose species created the universe.
Right.
How the fuck does Hal Jordan beat that, even with Parallax?
I mean, I read... Oh, go ahead.
This is absolutely random out of nowhere just because of... Okay, why... My status is the whole, hey, I can do commissions. Why is everyone giving me furries? I just want to know that.
Furries pay money.
Apparently Momo does.
Momo's poor. Okay, wait, hang on. It was really one-sided with Obi-Wan winning because of the Force. They're not all BS, though. When it was anime versus anime, it's better than like Zora versus Urza. So, okay, so... So Death Battle is weird. So if they put an anime against a non-anime, usually the non-anime will win. And I think it's mostly because they're so leery of anime power scaling that they'll always take the weakest version. Oh fuck! They actually did put out Inquisitor Cal for Fallen Order. That's fucking great. But
Question.
what
Hi,
was
by
it?
the way.
Hey.
What are you doing in Tor?
I
I missed it.
was playing my Jedi Knight. I'm on Terrace.
I'll bring him back alive,
That's a bit
whatever
away.
it takes.
With the small team
Well, Terrace is
monitoring
like the
outpost,
first planet you go
relay
to
your
after
search.
Coruscant.
Transmitting outpost coordinates.
Well, if
Good
you're
luck.
playing on
Our
Jedi Knight,
super-
I also have a Jedi Knight character.
Haha.
That's the issue. So obviously I need to play something else, but I don't have any other Republic characters.
I mean, I guess like
Get
really the only
oofed.
thing you can't do is like the story quests. But yeah, we can't do them. You have to have them separate. But yeah, like fuck it. But yeah, as far as Death Battle goes, like it should not be a shitstorm for Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan's like Kakashi. Kakashi has like his bullshit black hole eye or whatever, like at his max strength, and he has 2 Sharingans at his max strength that both have that. But he's also a sword fighter. Assuming Kakashi uses lightning blade on his sword, which then makes it have essentially lightsaber properties. Obi-Wan should actually have trouble with that because Obi-Wan's Form 3 is literally not designed to fight lightsabers. Obi-Wan fucking hated fighting people with lightsabers because literally the best form he had was dog shit against them. Form 3 is designed for non-lethal takedowns and blaster bolts.
Right, or multiple there was another form, which is why he was good against Grievous, which is the multi. He can fight multiple opponents at once.
Shicho, but
he was,
Form
yeah,
1.
because he was trained. Because again, he was trained towards the coming conflict, the possible conflicts.
To be fair, all Jedi learn Shicho. That's the basic form. But they didn't let him have Susanoo in it, and it was Prime Obi. That's fucking broken. What the fuck? They did Kakashi without Susanoo. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
what?
Like they basically took like non-Prime Kakashi and put him against Prime Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like the fuck.
Not only that one, like that's the newest one. Like sure, not all of them are gonna be dog shit necessarily.
Most of them are when they evolve anime.
Well, not just anime. Here's one that always got me as a fan of both Final Fantasy VII and Zelda. When they put base Link or base
Cloud.
they put Cloud versus
Link with all items. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, they put base level 1 Cloud with no materia versus a composite Link with every item from every game.
Basic lightning and he had his first 2. He was level 7 in the first two materials he starts with in the game.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
what
When I
makes
said
it
no materia, I meant no extra materia. My bad.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like fucking. Okay, so I just want to talk about Obi-Wan for a second. So Obi-Wan's fucking badass. Like, because people don't give him enough credit. So Obi-Wan took when Obi-Wan first started out, he wanted to learn Juyo, which is the precursor to Form 7. Then he met Mace Windu and saw Mace Windu using Vapad. Then Obi-Wan wanted to learn Vapad. Mace Windu said, no. Like, they sat him down and be like, no. So he's like, okay, well, what about Ataru? Like, fucking Qui-Gon uses Ataru. And then he saw Qui-Gon get fucking killed, and every time he used Ataru, he got fucking Vietnam flashbacks. And he's like, okay, Obi-Wan isn't a pacifist, but he doesn't really like. There's 7 forms, by the way. Technically 9, but the 8, but Form 8 and Form 9 are very special. So, but yeah. So he didn't like using Ataru, which kind of put him at odds with Anakin when Anakin learned Ataru. So instead of going for Ataru, he chose Suresu, which opposite of Ataru, which is an entirely aggressive form. Obi-Wan picked up an entirely defensive form, which was designed to basically be infinite deflection against blaster bolts, and if it's in a lightsaber fight, it's based around wearing your opponent down until they're willing to surrender, basically. So Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan isn't just a master of Suresu. Obi-Wan was so good at Suresu that people were going to call it, like, the Jedi were going to, like, ask Obi-Wan if he invented a new style. Like, Obi-Wan was so good at Suresu that people that were also masters of Suresu thought he was using a different form. That's how good he was at it.
Oh, see, that's honestly, just remind me, the style, at least for what supposedly for a long time from the extended universe and stuff that Vader and stuff used was Form 1, which was the power form, correct?
No.
No?
No, so there's... So it's, so the Form 1 is Shicho. It's the base form. It's basically, like... Vader used a hybrid form. Anakin became a master of Ataru, but the issue with Ataru is that... And you see this with Qui-Gon and Episode 1 Obi-Wan as well, in that it's very acrobatic. Vader couldn't really do acrobatics.
Right.
So what he did is he'd also learned a few of the other stuff, because every Jedi learns like 2 or 3 styles, but they usually focus on one. Anakin started picking up Juyo, which, like I said, is the precursor to Vapad. It's not so much a form as it is it was like half made. They realized it's not all that great, so they abandoned it, and then Mace Windu came back to it later and went like, hang on a minute, if I put some like dark side shit in this, got it. So basically that's it. So Juyo was always more of like you can take this form and apply it to other forms. So that's what Vader used. He used a hybrid form.
Right, like, because because again, I'm lacking on my Star Wars knowledge from over the last few years. I kind of dropped out a lot of it over the years. I remember different people I know. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say the forms you're talking about. Now I think about it, in like the earliest days of Luke's thing, before he learned, like, he found like journals and other shit and holocrons, he did make 3 forms, like the strong form, the basic. Strong form, train. Oh, thank you for the bit, Yuri. There was strong form, power form, and training form. I think forms 1, 2, and 3, but those were like by no means like, it was basically here's what feels right, I guess. And then
he wasn't necessarily fully, like, again, a lot of his stuff came. He was
making it up as he went along.
And also, go ahead.
Yeah, like he was literally making it up as he went along, and just kind of went like, I mean, this form is really good for training because it means that no one can get hurt. This one is really fast, and this one involves, like, basically swinging it like a bat, and that's the best I got at the moment. It wasn't until he found, like, ancient Jedi texts and shit that he started learning about the other forms. And it was actually Luke that rediscovered the 8th and 9th form, which would be... which would be Trakata, which is the deception form, which was made illegal by the Jedi because, I mean, it's in the fucking name.
Right.
And Form 9, which was the precursor to what we know as Jarkai.
Okay.
Yeah, which is like two sabers. So basically, like, you would get, so like the 2 sabers, that's called Jarkai, and it's actually a, basically, like, some people started trying to figure out new lightsaber forms, and they started, like, fucking around, like, like, with backwards grips, or, like, they're just kind of trying to figure it out. And it didn't quite work. And then they started applying Niman to it, which is Form 6, I think, and it started working. So it's like, okay, so what if we took Niman, combined it with this Form 9 that we're doing here, and then 2 lightsabers, and then Jarkai happened, and Jarkai is not quite considered a form on its own, because it's, like I said, it's highly derived from Niman, but it's like an unofficial Form 9. Yeah, like Ahsoka, yeah.
Okay,
it's really fucking complex, like way more than it has any right to be.
Going back to your Obi-Wan, about watching, about what you just said made a lot of sense, because I watched Rebels. I don't know if you watched that one.
I did. I hate it.
That's fair. But I actually really appreciate more than the the reuniting of Obi-Wan and Darth Maul in that story. Considering, because again, I watched a breakdown of it where the moves that they use are the same ones that Qui-Gon died.
Yeah. So basically, the way it breaks down is Obi-Wan starts in his Suresu form, and Suresu does start with the saber high because the whole point of it is to draw attention up there. So even if you fuck up the initial deflection, their attention is elsewhere. And yeah, most forms are made for single blade. Yeah, there are some for dual blade, but those are all derived from other forms. Mostly Ataru, honestly. So Anakin could have actually switched to double-sided if he wanted to. Yes, he starts at the Suresu, realizes, wait a minute, I fought Maul through the entire fucking Clone Wars with this. So he adopts his Attack of the Clones. He adopts his form from Phantom Menace, which I'm pretty sure is mostly Shicho, because he's a Padawan, and most Padawans start with Shicho. And then he adopts Ataru, which was Qui-Gon's, and it's supposed to show him coming to terms with basically like everybody in his life that used Ataru basically just fucking bit it super hard.
But he also kind of knew it was coming because of Maul's style. Like, again, it's really fascinating watching the breakdown because they do the exact same moves. The only difference is that last move that got Qui-Gon killed, which is the punch to the face.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan anticipated it. Yeah.
Yep. Making a big difference, and I thought that was a nice ending of the you know, what they've been building from Clone Wars up to this point with the return of Maul.
Yeah, the symbolism of it is that, like, whereas Maul has basically dwelled on this, has dwelled on killing Kenobi for the last fucking 30 plus fucking years. Yeah, Obi-Wan has, like, internalized his past trauma, like the death of Qui-Gon, shit with Anakin and all this. And, like, he's kind of gotten over his basically fear of Ataru, and he's learned from it. Like, that's the whole point. Like Maul is doing the same shit again and again and again and again for decades, and meanwhile Obi-Wan is coming to terms with it, learning from it, and adapting from it. It's supposed to show the two things. Like, Maul is trying to basically bring back the past, while Obi-Wan is saying, like, no, we need to... We fucked up, we had our time, it's time to let the next lot have a go.
Right. Yeah, because again, until Maul mentions Luke, Obi-Wan was just going to walk away.
Yeah, Obi-Wan's done with that shit, yeah.
Yeah, and it came down, but also you kind of get after watching Rebels, I actually enjoyed watching that part of it. You know, Darth Maul's story continuing where he was going from that. I liked them doing more with that kind of stuff. So his death, I felt, was a natural conclusion to his own. Yeah. From the events of the Holocron, the thing where he saw kind of his future. When he discovered where he needed to go.
I kind of wish they hadn't killed him. I would have actually preferred if that had ended with Maul, like, kind of noticing that Kenobi, like, basically, like, realizing that, like, he's dedicated his best years to something that wasn't even his fight, Because, like, the way they do it in Legends, like, in Legends, Maul lives until about 130 ABY, right?
Yes, I actually do know that.
Yeah. Like, and the whole point of that is...
They've also killed him a couple of times in the different books, too.
Yeah, but, like, most of those deaths he comes back with, because basically the whole point of Maul is that he's so set in his ways and so pissed off and so angry that the dark side keeps him alive. Like it's very much like Darth Sion in a way, actually.
With vibroblades, yeah.
Yes. Darth sleeps with vibroblades, yes. And, like, a whole point of it is that eventually he does kind of get over his hate boner for Kenobi, and he kind of becomes this, like... He kind of becomes the reason why the Sith stop being horrible genocidal maniacs and start kind of cooling down just a tiny bit. Like, honestly, like, my favorite thing about Star Wars is the fact that both the Jedi and the Sith, both are wrong.
Yes.
Like, both of them are wrong. Like, both of them they're two parts of the same whole, and if they would just shut the fuck up for 5 minutes, like, and just, like, sit down and just fucking talk, there would be no problem. And I think that's, like, one of my favorite things.
Well, that's the big thing for Luke's journey. Again, not everybody likes the books for the extended universe, but watching Luke go through his challenges of dark side, good side, Exarchus. Like again, if you ever read that one with the Jedi planet,
Yeah,
or not
yeah.
Jedi, Yavin. It's Yavin
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Which he makes, which if I'm not mistaken, is where he makes the new order. I thought.
The Jedi Praxium, yes.
Yeah, because he uses Exarchus as a testing ground.
Yeah.
In the later books.
Yeah. And isn't that why people in KOTOR see them all just one group? Yes, that is exactly right. Yeah. I mean, do you know the backstory of Tython?
I don't remember.
Tython is the Jedi home planet. So
yeah, okay.
So the ancient history of the Jedi before the Sith. And by the way, the Jedi are the fucking reason the Sith hate them, by the way. So back on Tython there was the ancient Jedi Order, and what they would do, it was like this ancient race of humans that came to this planet, and there were two moons. There was Ashla and Bogan. And Ashla was basically a light side nexus, and Bogan was a dark side nexus, and they both orbited the planet Tython. These ancient humans set up, and they started developing greater and greater amounts of force sensitivity in their population, to which started the ancient Jedi Order. And they were of the opinion that, like, because these two planets, these two moons, they are so diametrically opposed, but yet they orbit this planet, we need to be like this planet. We need to stay in the middle. We need to basically, like, the light side is perfect for healing, diplomacy, taking care of others, and peace, while the dark side is good for attacking, defending yourself, and ensuring that, like, everything, like, nobody fucking starts genociding everyone, basically. Basically, like, the idea of attacking, like, basically the idea of attacking versus healing. And if the Jedi stayed in the middle, then they could heal and be diplomats when necessary, but be cunning and strong warriors when needed. And if any time someone started drifting too far to one side, light or dark, yeah, they would be exiled to one of the moons to meditate until they brought themselves back in balance. But these exiles weren't mandatory. They were self-imposed. It's like fucking, like, you would come home one day, your family would be sitting there and be like, hey, bud, we know you've been getting a little deep into the Force lightning lately. You feeling okay? And if you agreed, like, yeah, I have been feeling a little bit too dark lately, you take a fucking weekend trip to fucking Ashla, meditate, get yourself back in balance, come back.
Yeah, I'm going on a sabbatical to the light side.
Basically, yeah, that's it. And it went on that way for fucking millennia, until a bunch of crazy fucking extremists decided, no, the dark side is evil, fuck the dark side, the light side is the only way, and they started a civil war and started murdering anybody that used the dark side. Well, or like anybody like who wasn't like pure light, which led to these people booking it and running. And they landed on Korriban, and they were just like, and like without the Ashla or Bogan to help like center them, like, and of course they landed on Korriban, which is a dark side nexus on the planet. Of course, they start falling to the dark side, but still they still have their thing of trying to maintain balance as much as they can, and then the fucking Jedi track them down, start orbitally bombarding them. And then come down to the planet's surface and start executing the Sith species. As in, like, kicking down doors and just fucking putting two in the back of their heads. Like, fucking ancient Jedi didn't fuck around. They went on, like, crusades and just murdered anybody they sensed was dark side. So the Dark Jedi, as they became called, started fighting back, like, took the moniker of Sith and mingled with the Sith population, and just became the Sith as we know them today. Yeah, and it's like what we know as Sith alchemy used to be called Force alchemy, which Jedi and Sith both used until the Jedi went, no, this shit is evil, we need to kill anybody that uses it. So all of the alchemists fled the fucking Korriban, because of course they did. Which led to another fucking war that blasted Korriban. Korriban did not used to be entirely desert. Korriban used to be a fucking lush-ass fucking world.
I mean, it was still super violent and horrible.
Well, not so much. I mean, like the ancient Sith, they were primitive. You know,
Right.
they weren't like violent for violence sake. They were primitive.
No.
If anything, the arrival of the Dark Jedi civilized them.
Well,
But,
all I
like-
was gonna say is like the brutality of the Sith warriors and stuff was specifically because of how brutal the monsters and living on, like, again, primitivity came from the way
Yeah.
they had to fight.
Yeah,
And-
then the Dark Jedi came, civilized them, kind of got them like living better, and then the fucking regular Jedi come and start fucking bombing them from orbit. Like the Jedi are the bad guys.
I feel like there's okay. I have to go back and make sure because I did notice like some rewrites on some of the lore that I used to know when I went through Legends. Started going through the Legend stuff. So I need to go back and make all that because I feel like there's a lot more complicated things happening at the time too.
I mean, what I basically laid out is like there are people, of course, on the dark side that were assholes because there's assholes on every side.
Oh yeah,
But-
absolutely.
But like the fucking the Dark Jedi just wanted to be left in peace. They just wanted to. They like.
go ahead.
They just wanted to be able to basically continue as they'd been going on, and then these fucking light side crazy people just start fucking killing them. Of course they're gonna swear off the light side and go to the dark side, aren't they?
Right, because well, I was going about with the because again, if you read of the Jedi of the Republic, you know, later become part of the Republic, were a completely different branch of that, even that themselves.
Yeah.
So they were more scholars and not massive,
Hmm.
brutal, murdering the dark side kind of guys.
Not gonna lie, the Republic just kind of causes all problems.
Some outlaws set up a camp there.
Oh, yeah,
Security points
absolutely.
all around the
Like, honestly, it's why, honestly, like, okay, so, like, I've played a lot of the Old Republic, and while I haven't played through the Republic classes all the way to the end, I've played, like, enough here and there to kind of see, and I know and I fucking know the Republic. Like, fucking, but, like, having played through the game on the Empire side, on, like, just about every fucking class, not gonna lie, I kind of feel like the Empire kind of deserves to win in the Old Republic. Because it's a lot more stable. Like, yes, you have Sith running around, fucking shooting lightning at people. Yes, you've got slaves here and there, but fucking... It's honestly a lot more stable, and most of the people that are slaves are criminals.
Right.
Like...
Well, but I think like I've always wondered about like when they decided to make the Old Republic, all the things. I know there was a ton of rewrites, and I know they made the comics at the time because I kept up with that because I was waiting for. I've always wanted KOTOR 3. I always wanted the end of that story.
You get it. You get the end of the story. It's called the Jedi Knight campaign.
Right. You tell me that. Yeah, I know that, but that's for this one, and they answer all your questions by basically either there's a comic book that answers what happens to the exile, and
there's a book. I own it. She gets fucking killed super hard.
Yeah, killed. But it feels like the story that they did here completely defeated the purpose of why Revan was coming back and trying to make strengthen the Republic. You know, choosing that stuff because, like you said, because there's supposed to be this massive, horrible, thing, and I don't know. I just feels like it's got lost in translation versus the original writing team.
I think. Well, I mean, I think the whole point of it was that Revan was supposed to fail. Honestly, like I feel like. Because I mean, okay, so I think from what I don't know exactly how the story plays out, but I know what happens in the book. But it does kind of make sense that Revan would fail because like he still doesn't remember everything.
Right.
Like, so he just kind of like comes back, gets his memories back of like being Revan, and then goes like, wait a minute, fuck, there's a Sith Emperor out there, and he just books it. Like, doesn't tell anyone, doesn't take anyone with him. He takes HK and T3, and that's it.
And that makes no sense to Revan as a character. And this was Obsidian writing this one. You have to remember for like what happened, like, or the end of the whole thing with it. It doesn't sound like Revan at all as the military strategist and everything like that.
Yeah, so I think
I
think it does kind of make sense though that he fails though because it's like I think that becomes a point where like you have the whole thing of he has a family now and it's like it basically clouds his judgment. He came unbalanced. He let himself get too attached, and it led to him making a stupid decision, which is a thing that which is kind of thematic to Star Wars. People get overly attached, people don't have the ability to step back, and people make dumb decisions. But at the same, like, the whole point of Star Wars is to be balanced. Like, yes, don't cut yourself off from everyone, because that makes you a fucking sociopath. But at the same time, don't let those connections overly cloud your judgment. The Jedi and Sith are the two extremes of that. The Sith are too attached to their emotions and their passions and all this, and they let that cloud their judgment and let them get over ambitious, shit like that. But at the same time, the Jedi come across as fucking sociopaths, and while yes, what they do is inherently good for the whole, it kind of leads to a horrible, oppressive nightmare state that claims to be democracy.
Right. It's one of those things. That's why, the more I look at it, he was bad at writing it, but I do now understand what Lucas was going for in his, in his criticisms and showing all those things.
Yeah. Whoever's crunching shit in the microphone, please either put yourself on text-to-speech, or, not text-to-speech, fucking,
It's Momo.
My mouth is like 3 feet away from my microphone.
Like, do button press or mute yourself or something. I don't know, man. It's just really loud.
Yeah.
I'll move my head even farther away.
Do chocolate rain.
Chocolate rain. Oh, hold on. I got fucking pinged in hand holding again. Hey, Bone Daddy Chaos, you're a fucking idiot.
What's with my name? I just realized it.
What is your name?
Girl Next Door
Girl
Haunted
Next Door
Mansion.
Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
You
okay.
are the girl next door, but in a haunt. Who's that girl next
Next
door?
door, living in the haunted mansion. You better know my name. It's Ashley.
God damn it!
Oh, she knows.
My people are
Yes.
survivors of the battle.
Why?
Because fuck you. That's why.
Another home.
Oh hey, it's time. Okay, so here's the perfect example of fucking Jedi being fucking shitters. Like this woman here, because of the Jedi being on Coruscant, which is the Jedi Temple is in the middle of a civilian fucking sector. Like, instead of the Jedi being on their home fucking planet of Tython, fucking out of the way of these horrible fucking just entanglement with the Republic. Like that's another thing. The Jedi believe they're good, but the only good they serve is the good of the Republic. If the Republic doesn't say it's good, the Jedi don't think it's good, which is stupid. Which is why the Jedi being part of the on a fucking planet owned by a government is dumb. But yeah, so the Jedi Temple gets fucking blown up, and every fucking building around it gets blown up. These people book it to Taris, and now the Republic is like, yo, these refugees gotta get the fuck out of here. We're trying to do some stuff here. And I guarantee you, the end of this is going to be like, get the fuck out. Jedi Order says so, and that'll be a light side action.
That's so weird.
But it's like that's the thing with the Jedi though. Like the whole thing, like the point of the Jedi is that they're hypocrites. Like the Sith may tend towards evil, they may be megalomaniacal, and they may tend towards fucking totalitarian governments, but at least they're honest about it. You know what I mean? It's like...
Right. That's again, as an order, and I think that's the whole point. Like again, why the bane for the Sith? Because they used to murder each other. They would murder if they had no one to fight, they'd murder each other.
Well, it wouldn't be that they wouldn't just murder each other for no reason. The whole point of the Sith is that it's about freedom to choose, basically like infinite freedom. And there are some Sith that believe that the universe should be more chaotic. So that would be your Darth Kraits, your Darth Banes. Revan to a degree, but then you have some Sith that believe that the universe should be controlled from the top down.
I'm putting, I need to put someone in the gulag. Don't let them out.
Okay.
Putting in the gulag.
Because someone was being an asshole, and I said, if you ping me one more time, I'm putting you in the gulag.
And they did it.
Yeah.
They did it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but then you got other Sith that believe that top-down control. If everything is controlled and everything is at peace, nobody gets hurt and everything is fine. And if there are people at the bottom, those people should be the people that are less worthy, you know, like basically like people who are like criminals and shit like that. So and that'd be your Palpatines, your Vitiates, and Tenebrae and shit like that. Like, and that leads to conflict, which leads to Sith killing each other, which to the outside world looks like, oh man, they infight a lot. But in context, it's really just, there isn't one Sith order, there's a bunch of Sith philosophies that contradict.
Right, I was specifically talking about Korriban and the early Sith, because during the after the first hyperspace war, that was a big problem that they had. Is they would, because again, they were always taught power, deception, and stuff like that. The Sith aren't always honest, and then they kill each other for that, and that became such a problem that's why Darth Bane created the rule of 2.
Actually, Revan created the rule of 2 as a joke.
Where the fuck is my pencil?
That's technically true, but the Bane thing came out before. He was always credited before they made this.
Yeah. So. But yeah, even the post-Great Hyperspace War, it was basically just like a bunch of Sith kept trying to take control of the entire Sith, and the more libertarian Sith are going like, no, fuck off. It's because of assholes like you were in this problem. Like I said, like it's never been just Sith killing each other for killing each other's sake. It's always been, I have a philosophy, you have a philosophy, fucking get out of my way. Well, fuck, I guess you're not getting out of my way then.
Another reason. Training too many students and then they fucking join together to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, again, that was, all I'm saying is, like, if you look at the philosophies from the individual viewpoint, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is why those problems were happening, because each individual Sith Master was teaching these students certain things, and then they would act upon it, or they would be. But again, there was.
Or they would disagree and come up with their own. The Sith Inquisitor in this game has a line. He says, when you're talking to Azara Zavros, she's like, oh, but the Sith code. Like, you have an option that is just, there are as many Sith codes as there are Sith. Right. That is the ultimate freedom of being a Sith. And I agree with that entirely. Like, honestly, I feel like if the Sith had a more dominant role in the galaxy and they weren't constantly being hunted down and murdered by the Jedi, like, honestly, the Sith probably wouldn't kill each other. Like,
I just got a mouthful of black pepper, sorry.
Oh boy. But yeah, like, if you like, quarantine a bunch of Sith to one planet, and there's an asshole guy coming up and being like, I should be the king of the Sith! Of course, the more libertarian Sith are going to try and kill him, and then the fucking other Sith that are more, like, totalitarian are going to be like, no, I should be king of the Sith! Like, you see what I mean? Like, if the Sith are allowed to basically spread out amongst the galaxy and do whatever the fuck they want, yeah, you'll get the occasional king shit being like, I'm going to murder the Jedi and take over the galaxy! But the majority of the Sith, they'll just go out and do whatever. Like, fucking after Order 66, there was a Hutt Jedi who survived because he didn't trust the clones, because he's a Hutt, and Hutts are paranoid. What he did was, he contacted his family, because, so basically, Hutts Jedi are kind of weird, because while Jedi are supposed to cut themselves off from their family, the Hutts are never gonna fucking let that happen. So he had, so he had, like, a shit ton of money, like, way more than a Jedi should. He refused his clone regiment and passed it on to someone else. And he instead just hired a bunch of mercenaries to serve under him. He had, like, a couple of clones for his starships and all that, so when Order 66 happened, it was just him and his mercenaries versus, like, fucking 10 clones. So it's like, so he's like, okay, yeah, this shit went up. Like, he took his Venator, and he booked it into Hutt space, told his family, and they're like, alright, fuck that shit, and they closed the doors.
Okay, we got a question about the hyperspace war.
Oh.
To give a quick one for that, basically when they finally created ways of jumping through space, I can't think hyperspace.
Yeah, jumping through hyperspace that was miniaturized enough to be so it used to be like the hyperspace drives were like really, really fucking big, so they could only be fit on capital ships. So if you were on a freighter or whatever, then you would need to basically sign up with like a wagon train with a capital ship and just kind of attach to it like a leech, right? And then eventually they miniaturized the technology until it could be in like smaller ships, which of course led to a lot more movement, a lot more planets being settled, and eventually led to the discovery of Korriban, or the rediscovery of Korriban, which led to the Jedi going like, kill him! Which then led to the Great Hyperspace War, because the Sith at the same time had been working to reverse engineer their original hyperdrives that they'd had when they crash landed on Caravan originally.
Kind of. Again, this is
my version is the older version, so they've probably added more to it, but that's the version that was in the original books.
Okay, that's fair, but that was again going back to the books because again, Exar Kun's from that extended
Yes.
So the explanation, because again, just like Revan ended up being the old, because that was this dark period. That's why BioWare took that period. It goes back to the same thing. Books. The Hyperspace War specifically, the big reason for it was Exar Kun, who is kind of the precursor to what would be Revan in the later ones. Jedi and genius, he ended up finding Sith holocrons.
Big penis.
Yeah, he and they even have him, which again later Lucas would give to Maul, the fucking double-bladed lightsaber. He was the inventor of that.
He was the inventor of it. Hang on, he was the inventor of it, but also he predates lightsabers. Remember, he had a proto-saber.
Yes, that's right. So So these are very fascinating. And again, that's what Lucas thought, Darksiders, this guy, double blade lightsaber. It'd be cool.
Yeah, but don't answer the Mandalorian War one, just watch the LP. Because they literally explain it. They literally just explain it. The whole thing though, like fucking the Jedi, like the only reason the Sith are so aggressive and so fucking murdery to Jedi is because the Jedi started it. Like there have been multiple times throughout Star Wars history where the Sith Empire has just kind of like fucked off to the unknown regions and gone like, okay, alright, we're gonna go do our thing, leave us the fuck alone. The Jedi stumble across them as they're enabling the Republic's infinite expansion throughout the galaxy. Go, it's the Sith, fuck them up! Like, the only time that the Jedi were not the aggressors is this game. And the only reason that's not the case is because the Jedi were expanding. Yeah, they discovered a couple Sith worlds, but there was like barely anyone there. And then Vitiate goes, okay, so these are the assholes that sent that Revan guy back. They sent that Revan guy initially. They sent him back. I killed him, and now they're showing up again. Fuck them. We have
to teach you this lesson.
What?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson?
Basically, yeah. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson? But then Vitiate, of course, is a fucking asshole, so he was like, hang on a minute. I killed one world, and it made me functionally immortal. There's an entire republic out there full of assholes that no one will miss. I'm gonna put this away in my back pocket for a minute. The Jedi Knight comes through, does KOTOR 3, and kills that body. Then Revan shows up and goes, you killed his body, but his spirit remains. I have to go destroy his spirit. Fucking Revan reawakens the Emperor, who goes, okay, fine, fuck you. But then he looks over and he sees the Imperials, who have been basically told by the Republic that he devours planets, and the Imperials go, hang on, that's fucked up, Emperor, come on. And he goes, it was a planet with no one on it, fuck you as well. So literally, the Emperor just decides, fuck this galaxy, I'll drain it of all life, and I'll enslave it, and I'll just use this one planet that I've got out here for my own purposes, like in my back pocket, and I'll repopulate the galaxy with that planet. Because fuck all y'all being assholes, Republic are shitters, and the fucking Empire's betrayed me. Fuck all y'all, I'ma kill you all. Like, literally, the Empire, the only reason the Emperor wants everyone dead is because the Republic kept trying to fuck with his shit, and then they convinced the Imperials to fucking turn against him as well.
My name is Nozz, and I'm here to say, not playing the game is A-okay.
But my point is real though.
Your extremely long drawn out point.
People keep asking questions.
Don't give them answers. Tell them to find the answers themselves.
Many men are here.
No means.
That's not fun.
Yeah, no, it's not fun, but it gets it over with quickly.
On the Republic. The black mark on its reputation for freedom.
Like, literally, this quest, though, is, like, literally peak Jedi. Just like, hey, so I know you're refugees, but the descendants of the people that used to live here want the land back. It's like, I know you've got no house, and this is literally all you have, but, manifest destiny, motherfucker.
But that makes even less sense in this, where again, again, this makes even less sense because you have several dozens planet. You have a whole planet here. Resources are easy to travel and transfer. I don't get that in this game.
No, but the land, though,
was probably seized from another species, just as this was seized from my ancestors. I have their documents, so old they were kept in printed form. Read them yourself if you doubt me.
My name is Jedi, and I'm here to say, stealing land from the natives is A-okay!
Okay, so, like, straight up, this lady is just like, yeah, ancient Taris was a sack of shit, my ancestors were here before the humans showed up, built their giant city, and then forced my people underground. I have the deeds, they're so old they're on fucking paper. My options are, that's too bad, prove it, or tell me more about this planet. Are you fucking kidding me? Like...
If you have legal claim, why not bring it to the Republic?
They prefer not to admit Taris's ugly history.
Your character's forehead wrinkles are very interesting to look at and watch animate.
Not be so quickly tainted by the old. If you have any sympathy for our cause,
that's a fat fucking titty, Jesus Christ.
Yeah?
We are alone and at the Republic's mercy.
Okay, at the very least, I have an option to... I have an option to fucking let them, like, try and help them find compromise. Not like, oh yeah, we'll give you your land back. We'll make sure you have a place to live. Like, it's their land! Oh my god.
I would not wish to see you turned away from your home.
I thank you for softening your heart to my story. I will tell my people.
Oh, are you doing a goodbye character?
So I've been told that, that if you play Darkside for this, it makes no fucking sense.
Really?
Like, not like funny haha no sense, as in the Emperor calls you a champion of the light while you've got fucking, like, neon yellow eyes and fucking, like horrible fucking Darth Maul scars across your fucking face. And also the Jedi Council never calls you on your bullshit. Like, which is really...
When did the Jedi Council ever called anyone out on their bullshit?
I mean, they called Revan out on his bullshit. Like, if you play KOTOR 1 as a Darksider, they call you out fucking massively.
Damn.
Yeah, so I imagine it's probably because this story, I mean, the Jedi Knight story is basically, like, the canon storyline, essentially. It's based on an early draft of KOTOR 3, and every other story kind of revolves around it a little bit. The Consular is working behind the scenes to basically ensure that your missions go well. The Smuggler is keeping the Imperial fleet occupied so you don't get your ass blown out by a fucking Star Destroyer. And the Trooper is staying in the Republic, ensuring that the Empire's spies don't sabotage your missions. So, in order for every other class story to happen, it kind of railroads you towards being a good guy, despite even if you're, like, maximum fucking, like, dark side. Like, it's kind of like the main problem I've seen most people have with the Republic storylines.
Sounds like bad storytelling.
Not really. It seems it's not really so much bad storytelling as much as they had a script they had to work from, and then they had to make every other fucking class based around it.
Right. Honestly, I wouldn't mind having really dealing with the whole thing of making really tough ship choices in war, which is what KOTOR 1 was for Revan's story.
Yeah.
His actual story. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, from what I've heard, like, the Dark Side story, like, it is mostly stuff like that, of you just being like, no, we need to get this done now, the Empire's coming, fucking, no, I don't give a shit about your family, fuck off, get out of here. But, like, at the same time, though, like, they'll maybe, like, chide you occasionally, be like, oh, you're going close to the dark side, like, but it's never, like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Because at the end of the day, you still need to kill the Emperor.
Right, this is, like, it's one of those things where you do a lot, like, again, fascinating endings could be your choices on that. Again, there is a fascinating idea of doing really horrible war crimes and then being punished after the fact, even though it's things that seem to have needed to be done. Does that make sense? Like, that could have been an interesting way to take this story.
I will say, from what I've seen, once they basically get out of the class stories and start being like, oh no, this is a story that any class can do, apparently doing dark side shit as a Jedi Knight finally starts coming back around, because characters from your story will show up and be like, hey, asshole, the fuck? Like, apparently during the Nathema conspiracy arc, your Jedi Master will just show up, and it's a fucking cutscene that, like, is different for everybody, but for the Jedi Knight, your Master shows up and says, you've fallen to the dark side. You've fallen so far that I do not believe you are even worthy of redemption. So as a result, I've thrown my law in. Like, you may have fooled the rest of the council, but you haven't fooled me. So I've thrown my law in with the bad guys in an attempt to stop you. You are the greater evil. And that's really cool.
That is really cool. Like, see, yeah, that's what the stories you should be doing.
Yeah.
For things like this, because again, you're in war.
Yeah, like, I mean, and it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, the second you remove you make it so that the knight doesn't need to do certain things, you can do really cool shit with it. Like, as that's like one of those things.
And again, the coolest thing is the idea of getting through the story and then having it where, again, you kind of have these people in the Jedi Order during the war who, like, ignoring your problem, what you're doing, because it's better to have the problem fixed. Right. And then, of course, to your character, you just did what you were either told or thought was the best thing because of the,
Yeah.
Remember,
like, this got the problem done.
The path to hell is always in good intentions, right?
Yeah, and like fucking like Anakin only fell to the dark side because he cared so much.
Yep.
He thought it was the only way to save his loved one. So
yeah, like every dark, if you keep an eye even through like Clone Wars and stuff, the every dark side action Anakin takes is arguably like for the benefit of someone, like for saving people.
Well, not only that, again, the Clone Wars, I think what the animated show did really well is showing Anakin as the war hero we were always told in the or the books. Here, we got to see what tough decisions he had to make and why they went down.
Yeah.
And he didn't always have a better choice.
Yeah. But sometimes he had to do some dank shit, but it was always. If it was like fucking, like there was an episode where like a bunch of Anakin's clones got fucking grabbed, and Anakin was like, well, fuck, if I go and get them, like fucking a bunch of people are just gonna fucking die. But there'll be people that are like acceptable losses, essentially.
Right.
Like, that's just one of those things. It's like, do you allow this village to burn but then save the fucking people, the men you served aside, or do you do what most other Jedi do and go like, fuck it, clones are disposable?
Right. Well, I think the thing that Anakin really represents and does a good job on, like, the original concept for what the Jedi are supposed to be. Again, they always talk what the Jedi are supposed to be, but a lot of writers still make them do, like, that's why they're hypocrites, is a lot of the things is they really aren't supposed to be in these conflicts.
Oh man, the Jedi, I think the point is the Jedi are intended to be hypocrites, even with the original trilogy. Like, Yoda is a giant fucking hypocrite. Fucking Obi-Wan too.
Fair. Yeah.
Like, I swear it's intentional, because like, even when you...
Hold on, I don't want to say that. I think it's from Lucas's writing, because again, when he wrote the first thing, a lot of the stuff that came out in like the second and third movies was him having to change the story, because
Obi-Wan was a hypocrite in the first movie too.
Oh, that's fair. Honestly, that's fair.
Like, I honestly, I choose to believe that was a straight thing. It's like, the Jedi are people that believe they're doing good, and they'll try and do things as best they can, like for the best outcome for the most amount of people. but at the same time, they'll demonize tactics that they are totally fine with using otherwise. Like, oh, lying is bad. We should always ensure that, like, fucking people know the truth. We need to be righteous and protect the peace. But at the same time, I'm gonna lie to this kid about fucking goddamn everything.
Right.
Like, and then like flashback cut to fucking Qui-Gon Jinn rigging the fucking game.
Yeah, fucking like, and then you meet up with Palpatine at the fucking end of the movie, and he is the opposite. Palpatine is flat straight with Luke on everything. Like, if you go through that entire scene, everything Palpatine says is true. He does not lie. He doesn't sugarcoat. He's not trying to persuade Luke. He's just going like, "Okay, boy. Okay. We're going to sit down for a minute. We're going to talk. Look, everything that has occurred has happened according to my design. You'll find that the shield generator is quite operational, and your friends will die. Join with me, replace your father, and you may live." 100% legit on the level.
Nozz, you drinking conch on stream.
Yeah, I know.
You're not on brand.
No.
It's
Come on, even
not...
I have one next to me. It's empty, but I still have.
Yeah, but this was free though.
Bro, I don't care. Dr. Pepper or nothing.
Yeah, but I'm playing the Republic when usually I play the Sith. That's how you know we're in fucking backwards time. But yeah, like if you notice, like that's intentional. The Jedi are all cryptic and they lie and they're just fucking hypocrites. While the Sith, well, yes, what they're doing on the face of it to the appearance of the audience is evil. Yes, blowing up planets, not a great look. Fucking like like literally having people called stormtroopers, not a good look. Like fucking like, but at the same time, they are 100% truthful, and they're dedicated to. And they're dedicated to peace the exact same way as the Jedi are, but in a different way. From a certain point of view, one could say.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Yeah, I'm gonna go now. This is some intense nerd shit, and I'd like to lay down.
Alright, go lay down.
Starting to set in.
Go lay down, you dumb bitch.
Later. Have a good May the 4th, and may the 4th be with you. Why are your tits fucking big?
Because she got a big titty. I chose the dummy thick body type.
Your imminent arrival forced me to take action. Your mission is to protect the Empire from Dr. Gadara's weapons. I'm afraid I can't.
Like,
but I find
like this guy here. What this guy just said. What this guy just said is exactly the point I was just fucking making. Like I roll up and he's like, stow your weapon. I'm Watcher 1 with Imperial Intelligence. Let's be civil about this. My response, you killed Republic citizens. And he's like, unfortunate, but I'm here. My directive is to protect the Empire citizens from Dr. Gadara's doomsday weapons. He didn't kill them out of malice. He didn't kill them because it was funny. He killed them because they were protecting this fucking doomsday weapon that will hurt his people.
I go with you on this one. I'm actually agreeing with you to a point, but I think they're both super deceptive and again, what the Sith are great at is lying to you using deception through truth, which is a really fascinating tactic that I actually agree with you on. But they're not being one. Again, you forget how much torment Palpatine twists and turns people.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying Palpatine's a good person by any means, but like Palpatine. Okay, hang on. So we're gonna say this. Right, the Jedi are lawful good, and the Sith are lawful evil. Lawful good, also known as stupid good, believes that so long as you follow a code, no matter how the fuck you get to it, so long as that code is upheld, and what that code determines as good is upheld, you have done it correct. Lawful evil believes that yes, you can do evil, you can kill people, you can fucking do genocide if you fucking want, but so long as you maintain peace and order and stability, the end justifies the means. And honestly, I would rather live under a lawful evil government than a lawful good one.
Okay, I mean,
like lawful good, like, the second you are in violation of that code, you are taken out back and shot. You could argue that fascist Italy was lawful good.
I have a hard time with that one specifically. Again, but I get your point. What you're trying to say. Because I have a different viewpoint of lawful good versus how other people because lawful good is not the removal of intelligence or making or it's the codes and stuff like that, but it's living by rule of law. Because again, a paladin is just as likely to go break laws of an evil, of a slavery and stuff like that if you're talking D&D.
Yeah. So
you could have the argument of that, but it's what good is happening, and again.
So that paladin, paladin.
I don't like it.
If his code said slavery is bad, then that means that he is allowed by his code, by his god, by whatever gives him that lawful distinction. Anybody that holds slaves, he is allowed and sometimes encouraged to butcher them. No matter how those slaves are acquired. If those slaves are criminals paying off a debt, like it does not matter, slavery bad, you can kill the slave owner. And you will be fine alignment-wise. Whether the paladin actually does is up to the player playing the paladin, but like technicality-wise and code-wise, they are totally fine.
See, this is where we're going to split the disagreement, because I actually do not believe that's what lawful good is.
Or it also depends on the edition and version as well. So that's another problem.
Also fair. That's also fair. I've been playing D&D for a long fucking time, but if we're going to talk philosophy, which is the philosophy of lawful good, lawful evil, because lawful evil is tyrants, politicians, and necessarily, it looks okay at the top, but it's using or abusing those systems.
See, that's where I'm a disagreement. So lawful evil is, so lawful, oh fuck, I'm trying to, oh god, my brain is not working, I can't remember what it fucking is, but there's this fucking thing where, oh god, okay, I'm just gonna start describing it, and if I think of it, or if you think of it, fucking let me know, because it was this fucking book series. So there is this empire, and the guy at the top is, almost explicitly evil, right? He is, full-on, cartoony evil, right?
Right.
And he became emperor by fucking, murdering his way to the top and just fucking killing dissenters and all that. But once he got to the top, he passed laws, violence is basically not allowed, to the point of people just don't do it. Fucking, all crime is punished with being enslaved. Nobody works because anybody who commits, and I'm not talking a made-up crime. I mean, no, if you steal, if you murder, if you do anything that is explicitly a crime is punished by slavery, which means that the majority of the citizenry do not have to work, and as a result, there is no need for violence, there is no need for suffering. Healthcare is, at a fucking absolute top, because the people that commit the worst crimes are used in medical experiments to advance medicine, fucking shit like that, and it's just, and it's told from the perspective of a person at the equivalent of, the citizenry level. They have no investment, they have no power, they are just a citizen. And just listening to them talk about it, in the book, it's just yeah, no, this is a totally fine thing. So long as I don't go and commit a crime, and also, there's a surveillance state, so, any crime that's committed isn't, you cannot argue that you didn't commit the crime, because you've literally been caught on camera no matter where the fuck you go. So, is it controlled? Yes. Is it kind of Orwellian? Yes. But is it peaceful, and are only the wrongdoers punished? Yes. That's what I would say lawful evil is. The definition of it.
Okay. So trying to take it from the viewpoint of, because again, if you want to take it that, you could just look at China for that argument you just made.
But the thing is, though, China is not that, because China is actively looking to enrich the people at the top. This is a lawful evil, a lawful evil ruler, in my opinion, is someone who just tries to maintain the peace. And if it means that, people who break that peace are enslaved and turned into fucking medical experiments, so be it, as far as that ruler is concerned.
Right.
The Empire in Star Wars is a kind of a less extreme example of that. People at the Dark Council, explicitly evil. But the average everyday citizen of the Empire, they are happy, they are well fed, they don't really have to worry about their life. If they join the military, they are worshipped as fucking heroes when they come back. People in the Empire more or less
don't think that's likely to happen.
That's the thing. It's fantasy.
Especially, Right. Okay, so we're talking fantasy because
I'm not talking in real life. I'm more just talking like I'm taking Star Wars at like face value here, like
value.
and to use this guy as an example, like he just said like, oh, everything I did was to protect everything. My responses are, you don't have a choice. This isn't about protection. You're a dead man.
Right.
I don't have a valid response to I blew up this building so that you don't get to use these weapons against my people. Because he has a point.
Right. Okay. Right. So, in my response for this one, it would be even in wartime and stuff like that. I understand that one of the options I would have probably had was, I absolutely understand why you did this, but I still have to do these things. Yeah. I mean, you have committed to this act, and I have to. Just that's it. Like, what choice? And I don't think that's an evil choice to make of still bringing someone who did this.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. What she said is even worse. Like, don't insult my intelligence. You only want to destroy the Republic. It's like, nah, Chief.
Yeah, that's like a heavy propaganda ization, and especially even with Jedi like movies and stuff like that. Like, they're not fully naive. Like, so something like that does seem like the Jedi Order in this one, brainwashes you into these ideas.
Yeah, like basically like. Does the Empire have its own propaganda of the Empire being, like, super great and powerful and awesome? Yes. But at the same time, though, like, I go to Coruscant, I wander around Coruscant, it takes me, like, one fucking fast travel taxi ride to find homeless people dying in the streets. I go around Dromund Kaas, even the most poor-off citizen at least has a house and is living more or less comfortably.
Right.
And unfortunately, the reason for that is because criminals in the Empire are punished with slavery. Meanwhile, criminals in the Republic are put in jail on taxpayer money. Like, is it more humane to lock them away? Yes. But is it more utilitarian to instead use them for the most dangerous work to keep the citizenry that hasn't committed a crime safe? Kind of. Like, you have the...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like the average citizen of Dromund Kaas, they get to live in comfort no matter what their wealth level, because the most dangerous and most required things to a citizen living comfortably is taken care of by criminals who have basically forfeited their right to that comfort in the first place.
Right. So like with that argument, like let's take that to like a real life would be like the chain gangs of the 50s and 40s, and which is what you would say would be to do.
Essentially equivalency.
So you're not just imprisoning people to sit and live out their days, but to put them to some work towards society.
Yes. Yeah, and that's usually what the Empire does. Yeah, like some of those prisoners sometimes go into places that we never see because there's a bunch of Sith lightning around? Yes, but that's kind of the price you pay for having Sith alchemy be a thing. And honestly, most criminals in the Empire, like, if you do shit bad enough to get slavery, it is usually, like, one of, like, several things. One of them is, be a Republic spy, fucking murder someone, spread dissent against the Sith, like, which is kind of fucky-wucky, but at the same time, like, think about the society you live in. It is a society that is built entirely by the Sith that allows you to live comfortably no matter what. Like, fucking, if you look around Dromund Kaas, the amount of, like, people using the fat body type is kind of high.
Right.
And usually a fat populace means that they're wealthy. They're well off and don't have to do things.
Yeah, it's the whole America has an obesity problem. That's because we have enough food and
Yeah, and you don't have to do things. Like I'm saying, like you don't even need to fucking go as far back as the Old Republic. You can go to like the fucking Galactic Empire, even as Disney portrays it. Like, the only people in the Disney Star Wars that are suffering under the Empire are people like Han Solo, who are criminals when we meet them.
Well, that's because again, because we never get to actually see what the side, like we never got to see Alderaan and all those other things. Like it's the biggest thing that I have is I've always wanted to get more Star Wars stories legitimately that were not in conflict.
I will say, so I'm going to point out, so Legends wise, there's a lot of that, especially during the Galactic Empire thing. Most of the Galactic Empire stories are life under the Empire is really good. Unless you're a rebel, it's why
or an alien
no. The Legends Empire was actually pretty okay with aliens, unless you were a Wookiee, because Wookiees aren't people.
Well, if you went into the military, you were definitely persecuted a little bit.
If you went into the military, yes, but that's mostly because the Empire. Hang on, my note did. It's mostly because the Imperial military was holdover from the GAR, and most of the GAR was human. So even non-clones are human. Like basically, like most of the recruiting for officers happened on Coruscant, and Coruscant is a majority human planet. So all of the officers come from old Coruscanti families. So when they start opening up recruitment. Of course, they opened it up on Coruscant first, then they opened it on Corellia and, like, other human planets that are nearby the core, and then when they started opening it out to people, like, in the Mid-Rim and beyond, where most of the alien planets are, like, there is a very human-centric infrastructure there, and that's not the Empire's fault. Like, they opened recruitment in the capital of the country, in the capital of the Empire, which is a majority human planet. Like,
right.
Like it's and so like you can't go and say, like, so if we use America as an example, if the majority of America's armed forces command structure was white people, right, and then they started like recruiting black people, you can't really blame America if a couple of those officers turn out to be horribly racist. You know what I mean? Like, it's not America encouraging that. Same as it's not the Empire encouraging it.
Right, okay, but so I have to go back and rework, because I know that there was, because even Thrawn, like, even though he later becomes, like, if you go back to the original books on Thrawn, had a horrible difficulty going up in ranks, in not, because again, there was a
Are you talking Legends or Disney? Because, like, Thrawn...
Legends.
So I want to point out the Thrawn thing. The reason Thrawn was having such issues is because he's Chiss. Not because he's an alien, but because he's Chiss specifically. And that's because the only encounters that the main galaxy had with the Chiss was from Outbound Flight and what was that other ship? The Outbound Flight and one other ship. And both times it was not great. The Chiss the Chiss found this freighter that was, like, basically drifting dead, met them, taught them their language, and kind of talked with them a bit, and the people came back and were like, okay, these people are kind of weird, but they're there, and that sows the seeds of mystery at the public. Then Outbound Flight happens. Palpatine blows it up, blames it on the Chiss. You see where that is? So when Thrawn shows up, the only experience most people in the former Republic have with the Chiss is being accused of kidnapping a freighter and blowing up a colony ship. That's the only, so of course they're going to treat him like a spy.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But wasn't the Outbound Flight a recon flight out into the unknown region?
It was a colony. It was a colony ship.
Himself actually assisted and tried to dissuade the Outbound Flight from coming and
it's been a minute since I read the book, but fucking Jedi Master Joris C'baoth wanted to basically, oh fuck, goddamn, you guys made me talk so fucking long and got logged out. You fucking sexy shit. Joris C'baoth wanted okay, so after this I'm going to just start playing the fucking video game. God damn it. So Joris wanted to basically start new colonies because he was under the impression that basically shit in the Republic was getting too cramped. They needed to broaden their horizons and go out. So he put together Outbound Flight, got a bunch of Jedi on board, and went, okay, let's like just start a new colony, start fresh, have like a backup Jedi temple out here in space, etc., etc. The Chiss knew it was coming. They knew it was going to pass by Ascendancy space, and they did contact it and tell it, like, hey, adjust a little bit, you're going to basically go right towards the fucking Vong. But that was the only communication they really had from the Chiss, as far as I remember. Or at least the only, like, story, like, narrative important one. And basically, once they were outside of Republic scanner range, Palpatine had them blown up. And then blamed it on the Chiss to create an external enemy for later. Just in case he needed it. Because basically, the main thing was, like, if the Confederacy thing didn't pan out, he thought, like, okay, I could use the Chiss for this. So that's the thing. So that's why Thrawn has such a trouble. It wasn't because he was an alien. It was because he was an alien that had a history of blowing up colony ships.
Was this talked about? It's been a long time since I read the Thrawn trilogy, but I don't remember it being the Thrawn trilogy that was discussed, because I know Thrawn talked about...
It was in a comic where they went deep... It was a comic where they went deeper into Thrawn's backstory, but it wasn't in the trilogy didn't have Thrawn's cadet years, but Thrawn mentions it offhand, but he doesn't go into detail.
Right. Because, again...
yeah.
Because as far as it seems to be understood, especially from a lot of extended, is that you're right. I mean, like, the Corellians fucking hate most species. The guys who built...
Yeah, Corellians are just like, the Corellians are, like, fucking horribly racist. And, like...
Oh, horribly.
Yeah, so, like, most Coruscanti are totally fine with aliens. So if you were an alien in the Imperial Army, yeah, you probably best fucking hope that your fucking, that your commanding officer speaks with an English accent. Like... That's really it, because if they spoke with an American accent, they're fucking Corellian, and my god, you're gonna have a bad time. But yeah, like that's most of it. Like, anytime people, like, point to, like, oh, the Empire was racist against aliens, and the example they'll use is from a fucking Corellian. Like, Corellia...
Right, Corellians aren't the only reason that I brought them up, because there was a lot...
Yeah, but, like, I'm just saying, like, the Empire is not blanket racist. Like, if anything, like, Thrawn's opinion on species, like, that didn't come from him being Chiss. Like, Chiss dismiss humans as fucking inferior species, for fuck's sake. Like Thrawn's, like, enrapturement with fucking, like, other species, that comes from Palpatine. Like, Palpatine fucking instilled that in him.
Right, but Palpatine, like I said, Palpatine's biggest thing was what the thing is he didn't necessarily like other species.
Oh yeah, no, he respected the shit out of them though.
Okay,
he didn't like just because he didn't like them didn't mean he doesn't respect them. Like, that's the thing. People, like, think, like, oh, not liking, like, there's not liking a species. Like, say it's like someone doesn't like Twi'leks, right? Like, that doesn't make them racist if they don't like Twi'leks. If they don't respect Twi'leks, that makes them racist, in my opinion. Like, someone could be like, oh man, fucking, hang on. Let me like go in depth. Like, use Twi'leks as an example, right? So Twi'leks, they're from planet Ryloth. They're entirely carnivorous. Most of their species gets, like, they sell, like, a good chunk of their species into slavery every year, and their planet is, like, the second biggest producer of spice. The majority of the galaxy should, like, really not like Twi'leks because, like, of the whole, like, slavery and drugs thing. Like, their main export is slaves and drugs. Any sane member of the galaxy should go, fuck those guys, that's a dick move. Yeah. But if a Twi'lek shows up in front of you and goes like, hey man, my name's Steve, what's up? If you don't offer him the respect of a fucking handshake and a, hey Steve, what's up? That makes you racist.
That's fair. You're talking about going after the, again, for people, like, again, the planet, not necessarily species, but the politics of the planet,
Basically, yeah, like that, and that was Palpatine. Palpatine had plenty of species that he did not like, but he respected all of them, because he realized that if he allowed himself to be basically taken in by, like, oh, that's just a fucking, it's just a fucking Rodian, what's it going to do? Like, a Rodian would come up behind him one day and shoot him in the back of the head. Like, Like, that was Palpatine's kind of thing.
Well, I still don't know if he necessarily... Again, going to reading some of the stuff, I don't even think he respected them. I think he was just the perfect politician.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, you don't have to, like, deep down be like, oh, yes, I love the Rhodians. I go to Rhodia every day and spend a day in the jungle. Like, no. Like, he could fucking say, oh, they're stupid fucking bugheads. I'm going to fucking write about them on Twitter. Like, but, like, at the same time, he's not gonna go up to a Rhodian and go, like, what's up, you bug-eyed fucking freak? Catch any fucking frogs lately? Like, he's not gonna go do that, is he?
No. He's going to do exactly what he did, which I think is what makes him amazing as a villain and stuff like that. He's going to use him.
Exactly.
He noticed what Thrawn. It doesn't matter. Like, to him, I don't think Thrawn, once Palpatine had it, well, we don't know what Palpatine would have done once he squashed every ounce of,
Palpatine actually wanted a alliance with the Chiss because so Palpatine's main thing was he realized that if shit ever went sideways, he would need an enemy, and the Chiss are really, really good at pretending to be enemies. Like, the Chiss for, like, the Chiss for, like, fucking millennia have had a war going on with another species in their galaxy. Their governments are best friends. They just pretend to be at war.
Right.
Like, it's great.
That makes a lot of... That's fantastic. I guess it just makes the point that it doesn't matter if he was a racist or not because he's going to use everyone.
It doesn't matter.
Everyone.
Yeah,
but that's also why he never stopped the Corellians, because he's not going to say anything to anyone. He's just going to let... But I feel like that's going to cause greater problems in the long run for the Empire.
And Cord, the reason that the Chiss do that is because war is actually really good for economy, but only if it's a war you control. So the Chiss and this other species, they can escalate or de-escalate this war as as their economies demand it. So like if their economies are starting to like slump a bit, they could suddenly like, oh, the war has escalated, and all of a sudden like the arms manufacturing kicks up and you've got like a bunch of blasters being made and sold and the people are scared and panic buying shit and it boosts the economy right the fuck up. And then like as like the economy starts to recover, if you hold a war state for too long, your economy starts to plateau. So they can then start de-escalating the war, and until they need it again. Like basically the Chiss do what people accuse the US government of doing, but the US government isn't smart enough.
Which gives a lot of credence to Thrawn's understanding of what he does.
Yeah.
Really well. So and why he became leader of the Empire. For
Exactly. Yeah. Now I want to play the video game, so I'm going to play the video game now.
You play your video game now.
Finally.
You were able to tell me to shut the fuck up at any time.
Shut the fuck up, Raz.
Oh, fuck you.
Your agents slaughtered Republic citizens. That's an act of war.
On the contrary, it was self-preservation.
Hey, can one of you give me an art style?
My mission is to protect
what?
Not
anime from Dr. Gadara's weapons.
Well, probably no shit to that.
Don't insult my intelligence. The Empire only wants to destroy the Republic.
Believe what you will.
I'm doing an art style thing.
You allowed the
Never did anything like that.
No, I can't.
What about
conceal your actions is also well documented.
Wasn't there Sailor Moon, the 90s, American and Japanese?
Yeah, honestly, you could just tell me Sailor Moon. Like, it could be the art style of something.
This isn't about intimidation, Jedi.
Oh yeah, that too. But yeah, that Sailor Moon was sort of define the decade area.
Yeah.
Fucking shit, every fucking conversation option I've had isn't like refuting his point. It's just being like, no, you're wrong though, you're evil. Like, Christ, the Jedi. I fucking hate the Jedi so much. Goddamn fucking hypocrites.
You would think that they would have be more diplomatic. Again, yes, you have certain times like Mace Windu or something like that, but you'd think there'd be more diplomacy in this discussion.
You'd think, but I think it's more just like the guy is right though. Like, this guy has been making doomsday weapons. Like, fucking, okay, so like, yeah. But, okay, so I remembered something before. Like, one of the weapons that the Jedi were the Republic was making that I had to rescue was a device that would fucking give a planet's atmosphere, a fucking electric charge that would fucking, fry the systems of any ship attempting to leave orbit, which would, of course, cause them to crash back down onto the planet and kill anyone beneath it.
Why would this not be a story? Then why wouldn't you have the option of going, well, I need to stop this here. Like, I still have to stop you, but I have to stop this too.
Thankfully, that weapon was destroyed, but at the same time, like the way they described it, I'm like, you could tase an entire planet. You could electrocute everybody on that planet. That is, it's like a Death Star, but you can use the planet afterwards.
Dude, that's like the concept of taking a MOAB, mother of all bombs, and then like detonating all oxygen on a planet.
Yeah.
That's
so honestly, this guy is like, I'm not. This is self-preservation. I'm just protecting my citizens. It's like, yeah, no, you literally are.
Right.
And the thing is, like, if you use it over Droman Kos, that planet's atmosphere is already like 90% thunderstorm. You could supercharge all the thunderstorms on Droman Kos and kill everyone.
Blasted imps. Death is
why would
for them. Thank you for liberating this facility.
Why wouldn't you have this be a much more complicated situation where you could decide to side with on this issue? You're still at war with the person, but this is a thing where
the thing, and like I said, like this war right here, this Cold War that they're talking about in game, it was started by the Sith, yes, but it was started after the Republic 3 times tried to invade their space. Like, fuck. And Kubi has a good point. Yeah, most Jedi are hypocrites. Jedi that are actually good people are Ahsoka Tano, Obi-Wan, Luke, and Anakin Skywalker. The others that weren't stupid dogmatic. Like, Luke didn't have a dogma to go by. Anakin thought the Jedi code was fucking stupid and ignored it. Obi-Wan was still kind of a hypocrite. Like, Obi-Wan was a hypocrite, but he was, like, a light hypocrite. Like, he had, like, enough sense to step back and be like, hang on, maybe I should step back a minute here. And Ahsoka, like, she really quickly just went like, yeah, no, Jedi Order's full of shit. Like, the only non-hypocrite Jedi aren't even fucking Jedi. Like, they just, like, Christ. Like, okay, and then this droid shows up. He's like, yeah, good riddance to imps. Fuck those assholes. My fucking options are, what are you? You're my kind of droid, and that's an awful thing to say. Like, fucking Christ. Like, oh, God.
They were living beings. I took no pleasure.
There you go. Okay, finally, the one Jedi thing I've managed to be able to say on this fucking planet.
My designation is RE-N0.
They were living beings. They didn't deserve to get killed like that. Like,
enemy surveillance.
Right. It's
Sorry, I'm laughing. I was asking a chat for other art style suggestions. I saw someone typing who absolutely loves JoJo, and I said, I see you! If you say JoJo, I will scream! And then she said Persona, and no, I'm not!
No, do Persona, though.
Yeah, Persona's the next one.
Dr. Gadara's encrypted bioscan to its present location.
So, I have...
Technically, I guess Persona...
Oh, if you hate yourself, do, Ruby.
I'm full on them now. I have My Style, Sailor Moon, Osamatsu, and Persona is what I have.
Watcher 1 reprogram this facility's tracking relays. He traced Dr. Gadara's encrypted message present location. Watcher 1 deserves to win.
After all the time we controlled this
You're right.
place,
you know what you could do if you really want to annoy Nozzy?
What?
Draw something in CalArt.
No!
And what?
CalArt.
Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Awful.
Yeah.
I am only equipped for computer repairs. I will provide you with the tracking relay's coordinates, but be advised, the outdoors are dangerous.
You fix the computer, and I'll reset the tracking relays.
And Palpatine is correct.
Screw it. I decided to stop on in.
Now I comprehend why.
Oh, hey.
Commencing computer repairs. Contact me when all tracking relays are reset.
I'm terrified to do Osamatsu because I'm not familiar with it. So Osamatsu.
How you handle Republic
powers. Oh, Yuri's gonna look fucking weird.
Oh, are you drawing your OC in different art styles.
Yes.
Oh, and Board, Plo Koon's not a Jedi. Like, he's a fucking, he's a fucking Barando monk on loan.
Really?
Yeah, he's not actually a Jedi, yeah.
Something like that too.
What? Who is?
Isn't Ki-Adi-Mundi something like that too?
No, Ki-Adi-Mundi is Jedi, but he... Okay, so Ki-Adi-Mundi is, like, a weird, like, transfer student kind of thing. Like, the Syrians...
transfer student?
Yeah, like, the Syrians have their own kind of, like, Jedi like Jedi franchise, I guess you'd call it. But it is still connected to the Jedi, so basically once, like, he got, like, high enough in, like, in the Syrian equivalent, they basically went like, okay, Ki-Adi-Mundi, you can either continue here, but we have, like, literally nothing else to teach you, or you can go back over to the main branch on Coruscant, and he went like, yeah, no, fuck it, let's go. Plo Koon is a Barando monk, and their whole thing is about justice. They're basically, like, Judge Dredd kind of thing. Like, they are, like, justice above all else.
Right, which is why he was an investigative style.
So you would say that
Exactly.
those are lawful good above all else, then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, but, like, it's not so much like...
species, they're like that, though.
Yeah, the species, they're like that. Like, they have a... Basically, they have a code of justice that is very, very simple. It's not, like... It's basically, like, 10 Commandments level. Like, you know, like, fucking, so, like, and so they just kind of do... Yeah, it is. Like, it's basically very 10 Commandments for them, the Barando.
Mm-hmm.
And so they basically, they believe in justice and righteousness so hard that they can use Force Lightning by using their sense of justice in lieu of their sense of anger, which is fucking ridiculous.
So, like, if you were to make one in Star Wars 5e, they could literally use Force Lightning with wisdom.
Basically, yeah, actually. Like, I don't know if that's in the system, but I would allow that.
There are little differences between each, again, like any species, but yeah, that's pretty much, and Plo Koon specifically was a dark side hunter, at least that's what a lot of the, not necessarily dark side, but that was his thing.
He was a cop, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, basically, like, the Barando, made contact with the Jedi, and they were like, hey, like, we just, like, figured out about you, like, da-da-da-da-da, like, we're basically space cops, like, what's going on? And the Jedi sent some of their students to work with the Barando sent some of their guys, including Plo Koon, and the Jedi... Oh boy, the Jedi got fucking, like, a real big rude awakening, because they got called... Basically, the second Plo Koon arrived, he looked around and went like, y'all are fucking hypocrites. Like, and then, like, later on, like, basically, like, they convinced him, like, oh, no, like, we got all this stuff going on, you know, we keep the peace, we do that, like, we're just like you, except, you know, like, we're a little more hands-off, you know, like, and Plo Koon was like, all right, let's see how this goes. Plo Koon goes on his first mission, he sees a bad guy with a gun, and instead of going for his lightsaber like everyone else, or, like, trying to talk him down, he just goes, kazap! And just fucking, like, takes him out immediately, like, the guy had a hostage and everything, just zaps him with fucking, like, what looks like to everyone else Force Lightning, and just takes him out, saves the hostage, no one is hurt, and the council's just like, what the fuck, why did you just use Force Lightning? And Plo Koon is like, my dude, it's Emerald Justice, the fuck you talking about? Because and basically Plo Koon explains, like, they focus their sense of righteousness and justice into their palms, and it shoots out as energy, like, and it comes out like green lightning. And the Jedi Council goes like, okay, well, just don't do it again. And Plo Koon is just like, okay, I won't do it while you're watching. Because, I mean, like, literally, like, if Plo Koon hadn't done it, that fucking woman would be dead.
Right. Does he have is he an honorary Jedi Master then? Because, like, he does have the title.
He's recognized as a Jedi Master, yeah. Basically, like, it's essentially like similar to, like, the transfer student kind of thing. He's undertaken all of the Jedi trials and just fucking aced them. So, he's a Jedi Master, yes, but he's a Barando monk first.
Is that why they had to take him out like a bitch?
Yes. Like, literally, Plo Koon, like, if Plo Koon was on the ground, he would have survived.
Right. Right, and I always remember that because I always, when I saw Plo Koon for the first time, that's why I like Keldor, I played a Keldor in old D20. You're just reading about him and stuff like that. It's like, dude, this guy's a badass, and then you saw Revenge of the Sith.
What are you talking about?
And he just... Yeah, they just shoot him in a ship.
I told
when
you
he
I should have waited until the planet was open
no way
to
to defend
settlers.
himself.
All right, hang on. Let's see how this refugee plot comes out. Because I told them, no, you can't live here, and they're like, oh god, is there monsters? No, not monsters. The real owners, you fucking bitches.
The land is held by the alien who owns this deed.
Oh no.
Her claim is better than yours.
The alien resettlement was a valid executive order approved by the Republic. This is our...
So the Republic literally just trails of tiered these aliens.
I'd have thought they would never come back here. I studied the history. It wasn't right.
It was justified. You can't make us leave because of that.
Fucking straight up. No, the Republic said that we could resettle the aliens. Fuck you. You can't make us leave just because someone else was living on the land first. Afraid I can, motherfucker. I got 2 reasons right on my hips.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're playing a Jedi Sentinel?
Yeah.
You can't do this to us. Our family governed this planet. We owned it.
It's been a long time since that mattered, right?
Our family owned this planet. Oh, okay then.
We get our dream after 300 years. That only happens in stories.
Really?
Grass called me when you left.
Really?
Wanted to see if your work's as good as your rent.
Really? It was silly to think we would get our dream after 300 years. I guess that only happens in stories. Motherfucker, you are asking me to evict natives from their land that was exploded because of you, your ancestors 300 years ago. Oh my god. They're trying to make me feel like the bad guy here when I'm the one, like, I actually did a thing that an actual Jedi that does what Jedi claim to be would do. Oh my god.
I am a Jedi, you know. We have our uses.
Oh god.
Captain Childress is gonna love that attitude. He's got something for you to do. And he still
Me
has to work.
visibly suffering,
If you're
trying to
interested,
figure
go
out
look
how
him
the
up.
fuck to
His
draw
office is
Sailor
at
Moon
HQ,
art
other
style.
side of the base.
Just giant eyes and triangle heads. There you go.
I think liberal use of the shadows, if I remember correctly. Now, excuse me while I go blow.
Yeah, man, fucking, like... Oh god, fucking Jedi, dude.
I'm trying to figure out if they have a tiny neck or not as tiny neck as I'm thinking, but
They
still
got, like,
tiny.
they got, like, no neck. It's like a fucking single line or some shit like that, isn't it? Or am I just thinking of, like, the Sailor Moon parodies?
Probably the parodies, because I'm looking and... Yeah.
It's not actually that small, but it's
Yeah.
not very big either.
either,
I'd
yeah.
estimate it to be maybe a third. Nah. Yeah, maybe about a third the width of that.
Anyways, Nozz, it was really nice to talk to you and everything like that. I
Yeah.
probably should go get a nap since I'm going to be driving at 8.5 hours here in
Yeah,
3-4
go.
hours.
Go and be ready for next week, you
Go!
asshole.
Oh, you're doing an 8.5-hour job.
Yes.
What's that?
What?
He has
Are you
to go.
doing an
He has to go
8.5-hour
bring
drive?
Yuri back
Oh,
to
let me
his
make it-
fucking commune.
Let me make it even more clear. 17 hours altogether.
Yeah. It's gonna
So-
go.
Nice. Good luck,
Yeah.
mate.
Yep, no problem. Yep, thank you so much. Anyways, you guys have a great night.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
I'm gonna bash my head against the wall.
As you can
Alright,
see by the
fair
data,
enough.
it
Like
is
a normal night?
known space that propagates as quickly
Well, I
as the
have
collision
a
rule play.
paper to suit tonight,
Even one
and currently I'm
individual
playing Ace
raptor
Combat
can start
instead of
a
doing that.
pandemic, as we have observed in 80
Wait, which Ace
wild
Combat?
colonies to date.
Okay, they have
Until a
can
vaccine can be
wed
widely distributed,
hips.
it is highly
But
doubtful
then they
that
go-
any civilian
What?
colonization effort will yield lasting results.
Oh yeah, the fucking Raccool vaccine doesn't exist anymore because the planet got fucking nuked. That's great.
Visible suffering.
You can hear that, Kubi.
Oh, you can? Shit, one second.
Christ, Kubi, is your
Not
fucking,
very
is your
much,
fucking,
but yeah.
I can hear it fucking perfectly. Is your dad beating your mom or something? Holy shit.
No, they're talking about some bullshit they have at work, and it's really funny to them. It sounds like yelling, but they're actually like laughing. It's weird.
He has weird parents.
Yeah.
I didn't know rat ghouls had gotten so many colonies. Rat ghouls have been the story on Taurus
His
for
mother
3
could cook good though.
HoloNet archives say
I
Damn well
hate
she can.
every bit of this.
rat ghoul serum vaccine just hours before.
Hey, they referenced the rat ghoul serum quest from KOTOR 1.
Oh, the Raccoon Plague is actually...
There's a pirate camp not far from here. They went after the ruins
Wait,
of Seven
no.
It's actually what?
KOTOR is still...
well preserved.
Half of the Raccoon Plague was only mentioned in like one comic.
No, that's like an entire subplot in KOTOR.
Public hospital, the pirates have legal salvage rights.
Don't want to get that shit, you gonna die.
Yeah.
Well, you won't technically die.
Have you tried?
You'll turn into a horrible zombie.
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
They're the Death's Claw pirates. They'd look
You'll die for all intents and purposes.
Scared human girl with money.
Unless your name is Dr. Eckerd Fuck Mothering Lokin, at which point you become a were-rat ghoul. Yeah, fucking man just looked at rat ghouls and went like, nah, can make this work. Nah, hey, like he's just slathering peanut butter on his arm, like, nah, let me in there.
let me get some of that.
Consider it done. Thanks. Have a
Like
working vaccine.
deadass, the man fucking injected himself with the rat ghoul vaccine, and before he rat ghoul virus, and before it took him over, he's like, alright, now let me just like edit my own DNA on the fucking fly. Alright, cool. And he just turns into this big buff like anthro fucking rat ghoul, and it's just like, alright, now it's time to fucking rip a land speeder in half with my bare fucking hands.
He became his OC.
Like, seriously, like, fucking Eckerd Lokin is my favorite fucking character, and it is proof positive to me why the Empire is the better faction. Because the Republic looks at the rat ghoul disease and goes like, okay, that's a problem, we gotta solve that. Oh no, oh geez, oh fuck. Empire scientists look at the rat ghoul disease and go like, I can make that fucking cooler.
I can make this work.
I can make this work. Like, no, like fucking the Empire goes like, the Empire's just like, nah, not a single fucking nucleide goes to waste.
It's literally just like that scene from fucking JonTron. Sees the box of the old game Philip. I can make this work.
Yeah.
Like we flew this many troops to the armpit of the galaxy so some kids could play pioneer.
Okay, so their waste is so fucking weird.
Only thing interesting about Terrace is that it's the worst.
Every bit of the Sailor Moon waste is like. What exactly am I doing here?
Yeah, it's before they actually decided that yes, drawing people like they actually look like is a good idea. So,
I could take a
have fun.
or two, but I don't know if I can stop a whole bombardment.
We're not there yet. Right now, we're just trying to learn
It's
what we
like
did wrong.
it's like it goes completely straight down, but then all of a sudden hips happen before hips actually happen.
If we're lucky.
Oh, fuck, there's a quest where you just go to the Endar Spire. Holy shit!
Desk jockeys in the wild with the most valuable data on Terrace.
Like, dead ass. Like what? Like for the Empire's terrace, it's like, yeah, the Endar Spire's over there. Yeah, if you go around it, there'll be some bullshit. But the fucking Republic is like, hey, do you want to go to the Endar Spire? Like right now? Like,
let's do it.
Let's go.
Vacation.
Let's go right there. Yeah.
They've still got
Fucking, I like how this guy is like, I can't believe we let Terrace fall. I can't. Fucking, the Empire controlled Terrace. The fuck are you talking about?
Team's your number 2 priority. Data's the most important.
I'm gonna go close my other door now because I swear I didn't do this loud.
Yeah. Like, oh, the fucking, like, Terrace was our greatest failure. It's like, my dude. How is it your failure? They blew up their own planet because fucking you guys fucking sent Bastila and Revan there. Like, your really only failure was, like, fucking forcing them to blow up their own planet. Fucking... God, the Republic is, like, the dumbest bunch of fucking idiots that, like, in any fucking game. Or fucking media ever.
You betcha. Pretty fucking much.
Okay, the Empire deserved to win. Honestly, I really like if they just, like, imagine if, like, The Force Awakens happened, like, they just redid it. The Force Awakens happened, and it just, like, it ends with the Empire winning, and it turns out that, like, and just fucking, like, it wouldn't be Rey, because fuck Rey. But, like, it was just, like, whoever it was, they start fighting against the First Order and all that, but then as they're, like, introduced to the Republic and all that, they run into Leia and Han and all that, and it's, like, you could tell they're trying, but it turns out the Republic is extremely fucking, like, bloated, corrupt, and all-around awful. And then just by the end of it, the Rey equivalent just goes, like, nah, fuck it. Just joins up with the First Order, and it becomes like then you can fucking retread the original movies, but have it be the Empire destroying the Republic. Not gonna lie.
What was the go ahead.
I was gonna say, not gonna lie, that would actually be like really fucking interesting of a take to do.
I was gonna say is there was a couple videos I saw where people were rewriting like the entire sequel trilogy. But having it essentially like having it make sense that why does everyone trust Rey? Like it makes no sense that they do. But to fix that plot point in their heads, they would basically make it so that Rey is some sort of wound in the Force.
Oh fuck!
So
wound in the Force.
So basically,
like the Exile.
Yeah. So basically, everyone trusts her because it's just. She's like if you want to make it equivalent, she's like a broken line of code if the Force was like a program. So everyone just kind of instinctually trusts her for no good reason.
And if they try and think about it, their brain just stops.
Yeah.
That's the Deus Ex Machina.
So honestly, I think the way I started, I should probably try and finish that, but honestly, I just don't have enough of a fucking like impetus to do so. Like the way I would rewrite it would be that like, oh, you saw what it was. It was basically like Rey would be like the main protagonist would be Finn. Finn, yes. Have Rey be a former Jedi that fucking just quit. Just like, nah, fuck it, fuck this. I'm out. I'm gonna go like hide on Jakku, and have her basically become a deuteragonist in that she has to teach Finn. Like she's basically at the power level she's going to be at, and she's teaching Finn. So while Finn is gaining in power, she develops as a character. Like Finn grows in power, she grows in character. And then at the end of it, they fucking like Finn gets Anakin's lightsaber and he ignites it, and then Rey would have her big dumb staff, and at the end, like she's been using it to fight the whole movie. And then at the end of it, when they come across Kylo. Yeah, or Darth Caedus, as I called him in my little script, she'd pop the ends off the staff, like, to just be the handle, and she'd ignite it and be a double-sided lightsaber. That'd be how I would do that, and then you'd have, like, this big climactic fight at the end, and by the end of it, like, Kylo would either die or be maimed. Like, so that he could come back, like, next, as, like, a recurring villain.
See, what I was gonna say, like, after watching Rise of Skywalker, like, there's a lot of problems I had with that movie, well, most of the sequel trilogy, but one of the most petty problems I had that, honestly, wouldn't have changed much, but why didn't they do it, was why the fuck didn't they give Rey a double-sided lightsaber?
Yeah, well, apparently they were going to in the original script before they give it back to JJ, but, Jung-Woo, it's a fucking F-. It's like an absolute F-. It is absolutely, it is a horrible, disgusting mess of plot holes, apologetics, and half-assed fanfiction. It is, ugh. But yeah, Kubi, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but they released a bunch of concept images and, like, basically first drafts of the script. And basically the movie was supposed to end with Rey, wearing, you know, Luke's old, like, Return of the Jedi outfit?
Yeah.
Basically, like, Rey would go back to that planet where Luke was. She would basically train herself there, and during a freak accident or something, like, basically her outfit would just get fucking shredded or whatever. Like, she's basically not really functionally wearable. So she'd go into Luke's hut, and she'd find his old Return of the Jedi outfit, and she'd put that on. And of course, she'd probably modify it a bit to fit her a bit better, because Luke was a lot more broad-shouldered than she is. And she'd also build herself out of the scraps of Anakin's lightsaber. She'd build a double-sided lightsaber using some extra parts that Luke had. And then it would go from there. Like, Kylo would actually be the supreme leader. Hux would be Chancellor of Coruscant and all that. And you kind of had like this kind of like French Revolution kind of thing going on. Like they'd be executing resistance leaders on Coruscant, like with like forced parades and shit like that with a fucking laser guillotine. It was fucking awesome. Like
I was gonna say, like I watched through some of the videos like explaining the stuff that was on there. It was pretty some cool stuff, but like I have a feeling it probably wouldn't have gone through like that just because of the way Disney wanted Star Wars to be, you know?
I mean, I think honestly, if Disney wasn't so piss scared of having another Last Jedi, which, I mean, they got anyway, they would have... I think they would have gone through it just out of, like, a desperation Hail Mary. Like, if JJ had told them to fuck off, they probably would have had to have gone with it.
True. Because the problem was, okay, so, conceptually, The Last Jedi is not a bad movie.
It is.
However...
It is.
However... Well, I'm saying, like, I guess I should probably reword that. Not conceptually, but like if it was like its own sci-fi movie. It's not part of Star Wars.
If it wasn't Star Wars at all.
Yeah, if it wasn't Star Wars, you replace the characters and said, hey, this is a sci-fi movie about a ship in space and like all the plot points of Last Jedi, but it has nothing to do with Star Wars. Sure, that's a pretty decent sci-fi movie.
You'd still have the narrative issue of like they're just like people just doing really dumb shit for no reason, like actively hiding information.
Yeah, I'll say, but it wouldn't be like, oh, that's not something we've seen. That doesn't fit Star Wars. What the fuck are you talking about? No, it's making its own universe. But when you put it into Star Wars, like, that doesn't make sense. Like the plot points in it have been done in Star Wars before. Like yeah, like there's a lot of people making that argument. But at the same time, the way they executed them was the problem here.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem with Last Jedi was, you know, both sides, the people who really liked it and people who really hated it, come into clashes, and then you have Disney in the middle, like, what the fuck do we do?
I think I think like if I had to rewrite The Last Jedi and I couldn't use my version of Force Awakens, I would say that first thing you want to do, like, let's ignore the whole Rey Palpatine thing. Let's make that not exist, because that's really dumb. I think my thing, I would say that Rey should not be the child of nobody, because that was a Last Jedi thing, right?
Yeah, that was Last Jedi.
Yeah. She should be the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That was one of the theories at the beginning.
Yeah, like that should be what she should be the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Duchess Satine. I like that.
Like a secret daughter or something like that.
Yeah, basically like Luke knows about it because he has Obi-Wan's journal. Like that's a canon thing. Like, he has Obi-Wan's journal. So like when Luke turns around to face her, he should turn around and he should go, I wondered if you'd make it this far, Rey Kenobi. And then like you know what okay, so this would have pissed people off, but this is what I would have done. Like you start no text crawl at the start, right? You turn around, if Luke's standing there, like she's holding out the lightsaber, and he turns around, he looks at the lightsaber, looks at her and goes, I wondered if you'd make it here, Rey Kenobi. And then the fucking camera swings up into space and then text crawl. Like, and like, that would be what I would do. That pissed people off, because, like, oh, you didn't start with the text scroll, what the fuck? But, like, and then you have, like, the explanation being that, like, Luke was, you could even, oh, God, I wonder if they could deepfake, Alec Guinness's voice, or, no, have Ewan McGregor do it. Have, basically, Ewan McGregor, like, fucking have him come in, and you just have Obi-Wan, like, writing in a journal, and he's narrating over it, like, today I've learned that Duchess Satine and I have a child. I cannot allow this to cloud my judgment. I hope that he goes on to live a wonderful life. And then you smash cut to like the kid grown up. He looks kind of like Ewan McGregor from Phantom Menace. And then you have like a fucking him fleeing like that scene with like baby Rey on Jakku. Have that scene, but then smash cut to the ship flying away, and it's like the fucking Ewan McGregor looking guy like at the pilot's seat, just kind of like with his hand in his fucking like face kind of thing. Like, and then
or even better, you could have it be just a different ship. It could be like one of those Mandalorian blade ships, what they're called.
Yeah. So it's just like basically you lean heavily onto that, and you have it be the Last Jedi, because she's like, Luke's not really a Jedi. That like if we were to keep it exactly like 100 as it was, there were no Jedi when Luke, because the people he trained like all fucking turned to the dark side. So there's no more Jedi. So Rey would be the Last Jedi because she is the last connection to the original Jedi Order through Obi-Wan. So like then it makes fucking sense. And then you have that entire movie be Rey like training and becoming better, and we learn more about Obi-Wan. You could even have her visit Mandalore. We could have had Mandalore in live action.
Oh, that'd be so fucking cool.
Yeah, and you could have Rey. She makes a double-sided lightsaber, and she's just like, I want to know more about my past, etc., etc., etc. Because the First Order should be not a problem anymore, or at least like not as big a problem. Like we kind of just like have her training for a bit. Like we have some like flash forwards, like fucking like her like training. She's practicing with the double-sided lightsaber. She's got like Force thing. Like you have her outfit change as time goes on. Like she's got like some like her shitty little tunic. Maybe she's got some robes, some fucking shit like that. Yeah, and then, like, later on, like Luke sits her down and, like, starts telling her about her family, and she's like, what the fuck's a Mandalore? And then you have her and Luke go to Mandalore, and fucking and you have, like, the rest of the Resistance also be there. Yeah, because there's some shit going on. You could have that set up earlier in the movie as well. Like, maybe, like, with the fall of maybe Mandalore is... Like, because Mandalore was a neutral planet. It always was, whether it was new Mandalorians or old Mandalorians.
They never really got involved in conflict.
They never really got involved, so you could have it be that, like, after the destruction of Starkiller Base, yeah, the First Order just fucking went ham on Mandalore, and the Mandalorians, like, asked for help. So, like, you, as you're flashing around with Rey doing training, you also, like, bounce back to, like, Poe and Finn and everyone, like, with the main Resistance, and they're getting a call from, like, Mandalore to go help, and it's kind of like in Empire, where after the initial thing, you don't really hear from Han and Leia, because, like, you're bouncing between... sorry. Ugh, fuck. That was gross. Like, you basically, like, in Empire, like, it's mostly on Luke training, but then you, like, occasionally you're bouncing back to Bespin with shit going on with them, and it's, like, so, like... Rey learns, like, a bit about her history and, like, how she's related to Mandalore, and she just gets this feeling, like, can we go there? Like, can we go there? Can we see what's going on? Like, 'cause I have this feeling that something's going on, and Luke he's like, oh, fuck, this is like back on Dagobah. Oh, fuck. And then he remembers that he went alone, he got fucking butchered. So he offers to go with, because that's the kind of person Luke is. And you could even still kill Luke here. You can have, like, Luke go with Rey to Mandalore. They meet up with the Resistance. Leia and Luke do a big hug. Fucking, like, they share their grief over fucking Han dying. And then, like, they basically work to try and rescue Mandalore and reconnect Rey with her family. And fucking, then at the end of it, like, Kylo shows up. Like, he's got, like, a fucking cybernetic arm or some shit. Like, 'cause, like, he got fucking blown the fuck up. And he lights his lightsaber, and Rey, like, lights her double-sided, and they start going at it. And then there's just this big fucking explosion as Snoke walks in. And Snoke lights his lightsaber, and Luke's like, oh, shit. And then you just end the movie on fucking, like, Luke and Snoke fighting as he's shouting for Rey to run. And then you still have Luke die at the end. Like, fucking Snoke pulls some dirty bullshit and tries to kill Rey and Leia. And fucking, like, Luke just gets in the way of it. Because that's the kind of person Luke is. That way, you don't have Luke being a sad sack that even Mark Hamill fucking hates. You've got him being, like, this self-sacrificing Jedi like his father before him. Like, and that's all shit I've just come off the top of my fucking head. Like, if I sat down and thought about it, I'd probably make it a lot more fucking coherent.
Yeah, I was like, the other big issue with the sequel trilogy, and I mean, it's just what's gonna happen. So... both the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy may have had different directors for the movies sometimes.
But Lucas was always there.
Yeah, but Lucas was always there to like not direct, but like I guess give direction, not direct.
Enforce his will.
Yes.
I mean, what happened is that what happened also is that like there was like a fucking idea like ahead of time. Like Lucas may have thought that he was only gonna get one movie with A New Hope, but like in his head, but he still had an idea. It's like, okay, so what would I do? Like he had this idea of like, okay, what if I did get another movie?
What would
I do?
And I mean, you can see that in the writing of it because he alludes to so many other things. He alludes to the Clone Wars in the first movie, even.
Yeah, he alludes to the Clone Wars, he alludes to the Emperor, he alludes to the dark side and the Sith and all this shit. Like, the only thing he didn't really allude to is fucking Darth Vader being Luke's father, but, like, even then, he wrote it just vague enough that he gave himself enough wiggle room to slip that in if he wanted.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's established that Obi-Wan is an unreliable narrator from the get-go.
I was gonna say, because with that leads into what I was saying. Basically, with the prequel and the original trilogies, you have him basically being a driving force to keep like this narrative going. Whereas in the sequel trilogy, yes, you have different directors and in kind of a general like direction forward with the writing team behind it. However, you have directors like Rian Johnson, who and it's not just him because J.J. Abrams also enforced his own will on Star Wars. He obviously did.
Yeah.
But you can see a lot in Rian Johnson, where he's like, okay, here's what you want me to write. I'm going to take that and put my spin on it, which, for all intents and purposes, is usually a good thing in a director. But when a writing team is for something that's as large as Star Wars, you kind of have to lean into what the writing team wants.
The problem with Rian Johnson is that his philosophy is at odds with Star Wars itself.
Wasn't it something about
So Star Wars. Basically, Star Wars at its core is. Well, it's very libertarian. Honestly, like Star Wars is the idea that it is up to you to self-actualize, find who you are, and if you find something worth sacrificing for, that is your prerogative, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you find your own path through the galaxy. That is the main gist of Star Wars. If you look at like the main cast of Star Wars, at all the movies, you have Luke, this farm boy who's become disillusioned with the government he grew up in and goes on to basically change the galaxy. You have Han, a down-on-his-luck smuggler who honestly up until that point had nothing to live for, who basically discovers friendship in other than the big fucking furry, he hangs around with, like Han had no friends. Like every interaction Han had with everybody except Luke and Leia and Chewie, of course, is negative. Like Leia, the spoiled princess who demands a return to a government she has no idea how it fucking actually worked. She instead calms down, starts listening to external voices, and learns how to delegate. Even fucking Chewbacca, this proud warrior of a fucking disgraced people who just slowly over time becomes a lot more open and less angry and more protective of everyone else. Like, the whole point of Star Wars is that these people start off in these honestly kind of shitty places, and over time they evolve and grow and become different people that are distinct from each other, but because they share the journey, they're still connected and they're still friends and they're still together. And that's just the original trilogy. Like, yeah. Right, Rian Johnson is against that. Rian Johnson is against people being independent. Like, anybody who acts independently in The Last Jedi gets punished. Anybody who tries to sacrifice gets punished. Anybody who tries to step out of line gets punished. Like,
fuck. Never realized it, actually.
Yeah, he is very, very, very much against people acting in the way that Star Wars says you should act. He should be on Star Trek, honestly, because Star Trek is the kind of thing that is honestly very anti-individualist. Anybody in Star Trek...
Star Trek thing though, didn't he?
No, that was J.J. Abrams.
Oh shit, yeah.
J.J. Abrams, as much as I fucking hate J.J. Abrams, he at least respects individualism. To the point where he does it so much in Star Trek that Star Trek fans are against it, because Star Trek is the opposite. Star Trek punishes individualism. Think about it. Star Trek is always about the good of the collective over the individual. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's always been Star Trek.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Star Wars is always about maintaining the safety of yourself and yours. And if you need to sacrifice yourself for the people you care about, fucking you shouldn't be punished for it. I mean, other than the fact you're sacrificing, but you get the point. Like Rian Johnson is a really, really bad director for Star Wars because he is diametrically opposed.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the Empire, like when we were having that discussion before about like Imperial rule versus Republic rule, like even the Empire respects the individual's right to choose to the point where it's the core tenet of their fucking belief system.
Yeah, with the Sith. Are you talking about like the Sith belief system, like the over the individual? Yeah,
Sith code. Like the Jedi are also individualist, but like they'll prioritize peace over the individual. But like they at least respect it. They respect the individual's right to exist so long as they're not negatively impacting others. So basically their individualism with caveats, whereas the Sith do not have that caveat. You know what I mean? Like it's oh fuck, it's left libertarianism versus right libertarianism. Like,
yeah, basically it's pretty much the way I was going with more or less the how the sequel trilogy. The reason it failed, at least in my opinion, why it like failed in many people's eyes, was because it didn't really have a direction. Like it was literally, hey,
oh yeah,
them not Star Wars IP.
Yeah, them not planning anything out, that definitely didn't fucking help.
Because they really didn't. Like, they had a writing team and had a general, just like, here, we want Rey to be a central tenet. Okay, cool.
And they didn't have any idea beyond it. Sith are libertarians. Kind of, yeah. Like, I mean, most of Star Wars is very libertarian in nature. Because if you remember, George Lucas is a fucking hippie. Like, everyone in Star Wars, like, the entire general gist of Star Wars is individual liberty, right? Even the bad guys respect individual liberty. But the splitting point where they differ is to what extent it's applied. So the Republic is a democracy, but it's a very corrupt and bloated democracy that honestly kind of makes it a little bit of the bad guy in the prequels, because it does stifle individual freedoms to the point where it allows slavery to exist within its borders. The Empire, on the other hand, it allows individual freedom unless you disobey the government. So it's basically like, yes, you have freedom to do whatever the fuck you want. So long as you stay within this boundary, you are free to do what you want. And if you don't, then we'll blow up your planet. And then that's just the original trilogy. Of course, like, and as you get into different eras, you get to different extents. Like, yeah, like it's the, yeah, and that's just the movies. Like, when you get to this era of Star Wars in this game, it's very much the Republic is very restrictive, like extremely restrictive to the point where like it's actually kind of a plot point in the trooper story of like the Republic is so fucking corrupt that a massive part of Act 2 is fucking hunting down and killing the people that are corrupting the Republic to make it more free. Meanwhile, the Empire is very much like, do what you want, do as you do, be the best you can be, and fucking exert your will. But if you exert your will without the power to back that will up, fucking shit not gonna go well for you, dog. You know, that's the difference. That's the difference. Like, it's like I said, Star Wars written by a hippie. So of course, everything is going to rotate around personal liberty and individualism. It's like even the bad guys, you can't avoid that. It's honestly why I like Star Wars more than Star Trek, because Star Trek is all about the collective, and I really do not like collective thinking.
If you hadn't come when you did, those would be our smoking corpses there, no question.
It's fucking playing the Endar Spire theme.
Is in the hands of Commander Vivian.
Well, I'm gonna get going. I'll let you
later,
get back to your stream and stuff.
I'll get it to the commander.
We've recovered
Talk
all
to you
high
later.
priority info.
See you, man.
If you run that to the outpost, I'll hold off what's left of the scavengers until our reinforcements arrive.
Bum 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 ba da bum 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 ba bum ba ba da bum. Oh you know, fuck. Can I? There we go. No, fuck you. Star Trek gay.
Let's see. Do I have enough money to get a better aircraft? No.
Yeah, you need freedom, but too much I can go bad and collect this showing. Yeah. I mean, that's honestly the main thing. I mean, so like it's like I was saying earlier. Like, I personally, if I lived in Star Wars and I had to choose a regime to live under, I would probably honestly say I would rather live under an Imperial doctrine, honestly. Like, if I could choose an Imperial doctrine, I'd say the Old Republic era, because, like, there's basically, like, Palpatine was a lot more totalitarian than I like. So, like, yes, like, individuals in the Empire are free, but there's also a little bit more control than I'd like on that one. But, like, round about this era, it's more like, you're free to do what you want. You're free to do what you want. Fucking go forward and exert your power and exert your will. But if you don't have that power, and you don't have a way to obtain that power, you're kind of fucked. So, and that's kind of, honestly, the weakness of such a libertarian and individual power-based society, in that if you don't have that power, you're kind of stuck. It's when you get to more democratic and, Republican, honestly, Republic-style stuff where the individual is not limited by their own individual power. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a weird balance to hit, and honestly, I kind of think Star Wars is one of the better franchises, well, used to be, before Disney fucking took over, but, like, if Star Wars was one of the better franchises to tackle this kind of question, because the bad guy versus good guy was almost always, like, unlimited freedom with all the negatives that comes with including the freedom to do evil, or freedom with rules, which leads to the Republic and can also lead to bloated bureaucracy that honestly kind of defeats the point. Like that's where that kind of fucking, you know, difference comes in. Definitely, if I was Force sensitive, though, I'd want to live under the Old Republic level Empire. It's like, assuming I survive the Sith Academy, like, that is definitely, like, the best place to be at. Because if you're a Force sensitive in the Republic, you are stuck with the Jedi, and they are going to basically indoctrinate you into their fucking weird hypocrite cult. Isn't it being libertarian?
What the fuck?
So it's like I said before. So in the original trilogy, at the very least, like, we don't really see it in the movies, but it's more like in the extended universe books. It's like Palpatine's at the top, and Palpatine is the more totalitarian of the Sith. I will say that outright. Like, he's at the top, and he's like, right, I want the galaxy to be at peace. I don't want anyone fighting. I don't want anyone being a shitter. Anybody that acts a fucking fool is gonna get some fucking Tarkin doctrine dropped on their heads. So don't be a fucking idiot. Other than that, I don't give a shit. So really the only real so really the rebellion is just a continuation of the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Like, from the prequel trilogy. So, yeah, so Palpatine is the most totalitarian, but honestly, like, so long as you're not fucking doing space crimes, the Empire was honestly pretty good about shit. Like, there was a lot of upward mobility in the Empire, way more than in the fucking Republic. Like, it's not as human-centric as, like, a lot of people claim. Like, while, like, most of the people in the movies were humans, fucking, I mean, how many, like, realistically, if you look at the Rebellion as well, most of the people there are human as well. It's because prosthetics are expensive, and they were reusing the same 5 masks for each fucking alien. Yeah, that as well.
Yeah, I think with the prequels, they had a lot more freedom with all the characters, because they had the budget for more prosthetics, and they also had CG to work with.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so it's like, so if George Lucas was making the original trilogy, like, directly after the prequels, you would probably see a lot more aliens in the background of both the Rebels and the Empire. Like I was saying before, the Empire is not racist against aliens. It's just that, of course, the majority of their army is going to be human because their capital city is on a planet where, like, 77% of the population is human. And that's going to be where most of their recruitment drive is.
You picked the wrong medbay to rob, Fat Brain. There's gonna be 200 Death's Claw pirates coming through that door.
There's not that many left. Trust me.
Wait. When I said you picked the wrong place to rob, I meant, we don't have a lot of money. And it's true. Most of our manpower is laid up with the Rag Ghoul Plague. If I'm not around to administer the serum treatment, it's gonna be nothing but carapaces and claws in here.
Far more are suffering than just those inside this room. Give it here.
What is this?
What the fuck?
Getting robbed?
What the fuck?
I thought you guys were allergic to credits or something.
Oh my god. Yeah, and this is another thing, like, right here, like, Jedi hypocrisy. All my pirates, all the members of my crew are dying of the Rat Ghoul Plague. Yeah, but there's more people dying outside here, so hand it over. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is where the Jedi become hypocrites, because it's like, they're all about, like, fucking helping people and peace and all this, but the second the Republic says jump, they jump. And that's what makes the Jedi hypocrites, and that's why I prefer the Sith.
Less talk, more serum.
Wait. We don't have all that much. If you cut off my supply, these guys are gonna turn. You know what that means? I'm gonna have to shoot them all in the head before they try to eat my liver.
So what are you playing this game on Steam or something? No, it's a separate download. If you go to, it's like, I mean, I guess you can get it on Origin, but I just downloaded it. I just got it from the fucking the Old Republic website. It's an MMO.
You're a doctor, right? Synthesize some more.
With what? My state-of-the-art facilities? I can only use what I find, and we don't find much. The only place I can think of that might have some left is the ruins of Dynamet General. The place was basically Ghoul Town. You want serum, you get it there, and leave us alone.
Yeah, the website is the best option, yeah. Fuck it, yeah. Like, straight up the Jedi thing. Like, I'll look there once, or serum now. Like,
I better not come to regret this.
No, the stuff is down there, I swear, on my medical license. The real one.
Man, the pirate actually has a medical license. Holy shit. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, fucking, like, the Jedi, like, they actually kind of have been going into this in more recent Star Wars media, which I really like. In that, like, there's a lot of people that the Jedi are just, like, dead set against, and it's like, they're not that way on purpose. They're not that way, like, by choice. Like, in the Clone Wars, Ahsoka kind of realizes that a lot of people fucking hate the Jedi. And it's mostly because the Jedi just kind of dick people over. And it's kind of neat. Like fucking, like, they're like, Rafa and Trace, their fucking family home got fucking blown up, like, in the opening of the fucking Clone Wars. And fucking Master Luminara Unduli was there, and she was just, like, put her hand on their shoulder and went, like, the Force will provide, and then fucking left. Like, these orphans who just watched their family fucking blow up. Like, it's essentially the equivalent of just a fucking priest coming up to some orphans and just going, like, God will provide, and then leaving. Like, no help, no money, no nothing. And I honestly, I really like that, and I hope we get more of that, because it's like, there's been far too much stuff recently, especially since Disney took over, where the Jedi are just, like, always right, and everyone the Jedi ever fight are always bad guys, like, without fail. Yes, that is a real thing, like, and it's been a thing, like, for the Jedi in Legends. Yeah, like, in Legends, it was a really big thing, where, like, a lot of Jedi just really didn't understand the plight of the people they were supposed to be serving, because they're so, like, cut off from everything, you know? Like, Jedi, they've got no attachments, no fucking, like, no nothing. And it's because of that detachment they come across as sociopaths. And like, it's honestly kind of neat. It's honestly kind of neat, and I really hope that Disney does more of that with Star Wars, because that was kind of the whole point. Like, a large part of the prequels was to establish that the Jedi were not perfect beings. If anything, their fall was not entirely orchestrated by Palpatine. Like, the whole point of it in Legends was that the Jedi would have eventually fallen anyway. Like, Palpatine just kind of sped it up. It's like, it's probably like, it's like I said, like, the original origin of the Jedi, like, where it was like, oh, they're essentially, like, originally there was no Sith, there was no Jedi, there was only the Jedi Order, and they focused entirely on being in balance. If they needed to be healers and diplomats, they would use the light side. If they needed to be brave warriors, they would use the dark side. And if ever they were out of balance, they would just go to a dark side or light side nexus and meditate until they were in balance. And that was just how it worked.
And that's why Grey Jedi are superior.
Honestly, yeah. Grey Jedi are probably the closest to what the Jedi were originally intended to be when their order was created. Like, if you, like, honestly, like, there was this one book that was being written right before Disney took it out, and, like, the author basically just kind of like, yeah, this is what I was working on, and then they haven't revealed anything, I imagine because of an NDA, and it was supposed to be an ancient Jedi Order member who had been, like, frozen in carbonite, and, like, they were supposed to be woken up, like, fucking, like, centuries later, like, during, like, I think it would be, like, during Luke's, like, not, like Luke's order, but, like, long after Luke had died. And they were supposed to wake up, like, see, like, what things had turned into and be like, yo, what the fuck? And honestly, I kind of wish that had happened. Because that sounds like, honestly, the biggest way to be like, yeah, no, both Jedi and Sith, they're both wrong. But, like, if I had to choose, I would still choose the Sith.
Do you think if he could go back in time and undo what he did, do you think that George Lucas would not have sold to Disney?
Is that central computer online?
Honestly, I think he wouldn't. Like, now that if he knew what they were going to do, I think he wouldn't.
My programming provides no secondary mission. I'm uncertain how to
like,
proceed. Serving Republic cowards is unacceptable.
Hang
on.
Because honestly, some of the best stuff that came out of like LucasArts were the extended universe video games.
Yeah, and in a lot of the, like basically like the main thing that led to Lucas creating the prequel trilogy is that he read the Thrawn books. And he thought they were so cool. He was like, "Nah, I'm getting the Star Wars itch again." Like, and I honestly I think that like if Lucas I think honestly people just were too harsh with the fucking prequels, I think, and George Lucas sold because he wanted to make another movie but he was afraid. Like, because I mean, I honestly, like, the prequel movies are not bad. Like, I've shown them to Sai, and Sai was like, okay, Jar Jar Binks, I fucking hate him, but the rest of this is totally fine. Like, she doesn't understand why people hate the prequel so much.
Yeah, and it was like even Kim from our D&D group, she mentioned that the only thing she absolutely hated about the prequels was Jar Jar Binks, as you said.
Yeah. Like, otherwise, the movies are totally fine. Like, Natalie Portman is a shitty actor, yes. But that's one actor. Like, everyone else is fine. Like, people shit on the prequels.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor was awesome. Like, mostly because, like, he didn't take it too seriously.
Like... But the thing is, that's with Star Wars. Star Wars has never been, like, overly serious. People act like, oh, it's been too kiddified, it's too kiddie, da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, people forget that, like, when they saw the original trilogy, they were kids. Like, the same kind of goofy bullshit that people, like, mock the prequel trilogy for was there in the original trilogy. It's there in the Clone Wars cartoons. It's there in the books. The whole thing of Star Wars is that, yes, it's a big space opera, it's a big science fantasy thing, but it's also something intended to be enjoyed by people of all ages. And I think that's, like, the really important part that people forget. It's not a movie about space wizards for children, it's a movie about space wizards for everyone.
Dr. Godera needs all the help he can get. You should come.
Excellent suggestion. Perhaps I can have triangulation complete. I am coming, but do not wait for me. My
fucking... Like, just to put it in context, like, when Star Wars Episode 1 came out in, like, 2000, I think, like, in England, at least. That's when I watched it in theaters. And the year before, I watched all of the original trilogy. Like, those were the first movies I fucking watched. I was 4 years old. And the same love of the fucking, of the original trilogy, that I have the exact same enjoyment for both. Like, there's nothing wrong with the prequel trilogy that you cannot also apply to the fucking originals, save for the fact that some of the CG has aged really poorly. But at the time, it looked really good.
Yeah, and like there are even some clever things that still hold up today, like how they did the waterfalls for Naboo.
Exactly.
They literally poured salt.
Exactly.
Like, and I think that's always been the thing. Like, it's been clever and economic use of CG and also practical effects. Like, the only reason to use CG was that it was at the point where it looked good enough, but was still affordable.
Well, and there was also like a limitation of CG in that, like, there's a lot of people complain like, oh, there's too much shot for shot conversations where it's like camera looking at one person and then camera looking at other person. It's like that was a limitation of the technology of the time. Like, all of those shots that people complain about, they happen in fucking areas where if they weren't doing CG, they could not fucking have those shots. You can't do Coruscant with practical effects. Like, you just can't. There's no way to do that. Like, oh god, it's just too big. Like, so, like, of course, for like, Coruscant, they're going to do, like, the easiest composition they can do. Fuck. Who the fuck is trying to fight me now?
Oh, is someone trying to duel you?
No, like, apparently my companion pulled some aggro, but I have no idea where the fuck it is. There it is. Like, would I prefer a few more dynamic angles during conversations in fucking the prequel trilogy? Yes. Are they super required? No. Is Natalie Portman a bad actress? Yes. Fucking, like...
What other movies have Natalie Portman been in other than the prequels?
She's been in a few, but she's been shit in all of them.
Maybe I'm mixing up my actresses here, but wasn't she in Leon the Professional, or was that someone else? Might be, not sure if I'm...
I don't know, but she's such a poor, unmemorable actress that honestly, she might have been, I just don't remember. Where
the... have you acquired the Tauntaun?
Yes. Is this the... No, that's the emergency generator. Where the fuck is the rat ghoul serum? I should have just taken it from that fucking pirate. I should have just taken it from that fucking pirate doctor. Is it over here? Oh, fuck's sake, it is down here. God damn it. But yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk about why people don't fucking understand Star Wars. Straight up, it's like, you'd think it'd be like an easy concept. It's a fucking movie about, it's a movie based on westerns and fucking, like, fucking TV serials, and just, like, put a hat on Han Solo. He's just a cowboy.
And replace the lightsabers with katanas, and you have a, you know...
It's Cowboys and Samurai. The movie. That's it. And if you want to fucking make sure you remove weeb, like make it a fucking longsword, because it's still a fucking, because it also blends some fucking knights and shit in there as well. Like fucking Darth Vader is literally the Black Knight. Like he's head to toe in armor, then has a fucking dubious connection to the fucking protagonist, who is quite literally a white knight. Like, Luke's entire wardrobe is made of white until the fucking last movie, at which point it's black at the start to make you think, oh man, maybe Luke is flirting with the dark side. And then right at the moment where he fucking, like, proves himself to be a true hero, a flap flops open and you see that he's white underneath. Fucking, it's basic symbology.
Welcome back. Let's get those serum samples analyzed and see what we've got. Well, thank the Force for good Teresian storage technology. I wasn't sure anything would still be viable after 3 centuries.
This fucking vaccine has been viable for 300 years.
While we wait, is there a cost to these samples I should be aware of?
Hey, I guess they knew how to really...
Okay, man, no, man, fucking like...
I think the idea is that, sure, you'll be safe from the vaccine, but you'll probably get cancer from all the different types of preservatives in there.
I choose to believe that that it's just like... So Terrace's main thing it was famous for was Teresian ale. I choose to believe that the Teresian citizenry were just such giant alcoholics that they perfected refrigeration.
No problems. I found some stashed away for a rainy century.
You make it sound so easy.
Here we are. Fortunately, the plague is so virulent it cultures very rapidly. Bad news. The serum you recovered looks like it was effective 300 years ago. But the Rakul
So
plague
the
has
serum
mutated
wasn't
since
even
then.
fucking useful.
The serum will only provide effective immunity for
What happened?
extraordinarily healthy
So basically,
individuals.
like, the rat ghoul plague apparently has mutated over 3 centuries, so now the vaccine is only partially effective. If someone has an underlying condition, it won't work. What creature in Star Wars do you think would taste the best? Hey, thank you for the bit, Scott.
Cheered.
Obviously, it's the what the heck, the monkey lizard thing. Obviously.
No,
Apparently.
I hate Momo. I wish Momo would fucking stop with that, because like the main reason they eat monkey lizard on Tatooine is because there is literally nothing to eat. Like, but like as far as Star Wars is concerned, like it's canonically Nerf. Nerf is canonically the most delicious animal because they have been bred and genetically engineered for thousands of years to be delicious.
Like, and then you have Banthas for milk.
Blue milk. Yeah. Like fucking like Nerfs are like basically they've genetically engineered them so that their meat is so delicious that even if you cook it absolutely horribly, it is damn near impossible to fuck up unless your name is Han Solo. Like Han Solo is canonically so bad of a cook that like he for his and Leia's first anniversary, he cooked them a Nerf steak. And he liked it because of course he did, because he doesn't fucking know any better because he's a shitty cook. Yeah, and Leia damn near threw up. Leia's like, "No, you are banned from cooking. We're going to make 3PO do it from now on." Then they found out 3PO can't cook. So then they had him reprogrammed to learn how to cook. Eventually, the Leia just went like, fuck it, and bought a fucking chef droid. So he burned water. Yeah, basically.
How do we make it
So now here's a question. Who would win in a cook-off between Han Solo and every freaking woman in Persona?
Haven't had a survivor yet, for obvious reasons.
Let's see, here's the thing. If Han Solo's using Star Wars ingredients, he wins.
Extraordinary individual protected by the serum. I could collect the antibodies and
what if you had Chia or Yukiko using Star Wars ingredients?
I feel like that's how the rat ghoul plague started.
If it means we can someday wipe those things from the planet, sign me up. Well, and I had this whole speech ready. All right, we have a medical droid, CB-084, set up to observe rat ghouls in the field. He'll be able to collect the antibodies and slow any potential complications. After I give you the serum, go out there and
just gonna inject myself with fucking rat ghoul virus. No big deal. Just maybe I'll get superpowers.
Inject me and let's get going. Here you go.
I forget, what's the thing in the first Knights of the Old Republic that Jedi were resistant to catching the rat ghoul plague or something? Yeah, hence why you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's because the rat ghoul plague is actually Sith alchemy. It's not actually a virus. It's Forceborn. That's why making a vaccine is so fucking hard. Because the vaccine has to get to your midichlorians. The disease is passed by the Mur talisman. And if you touch the talisman, it just infects you right there with Alpha Rat Ghoul. And then anyone you bite becomes a Rat Ghoul. And it, like I said, it gets into your fucking, like, force. It's actually also why rat ghouls that get lucky and become neck ghouls can become force sensitive, even if when they were human they weren't.
If you have any questions about military operations on... My pardon, Jedi. I'm actually expecting one of your order. Are you the one who saved my team at the Endar Spire?
The Force was with me, as usual.
The data from the Endar Spire will be invaluable to the Republic's war efforts. Lieutenant Karlsu tells me there's close surveillance footage of the Imperial warships.
My life is dedicated to stopping the spread of the Sith.
As is mine. Thank you for your service. Republic intelligence has been waiting for this data since the bombardment fell.
So they did all that for 300-year-old data from a different Sith Empire. What the fuck? The worst thing in Star Wars midichlorians. See, I don't even hate the midichlorians. Like, straight up, I don't hate the midichlorians.
I mean,
what happens to all the
droids? Thing that Lucas had planned the midichlorian stuff, like the fact that Force sensitivity is DNA based from the very get-go.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Force sensitivity has always been, like, passed down in family. Like, if your dad was Force sensitive, you had a better chance of being Force sensitive. Yeah, that's always been a thing. But, like, I don't hate midichlorians because it's, like, it doesn't inherently go against what Obi-Wan said. The midichlorians aren't the Force. Like, you can kind of think of it as, like, so what was it Obi-Wan said? The Force is an energy field. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, it connects everything together. Midichlorians are... Oh, shit, fuck. I just realized this quest has a time limit on it. If you think of it like that, so, like, if you're Force sensitive... Yeah, it's like receptors. So if you're Force sensitive, it doesn't mean that, like, oh, you were born with more midichlorians, da-da-da-da. It means that the Force is strong with you, and because the Force is strong with you, midichlorians can propagate in your blood easier. That makes sense. So if that makes sense. So it's like if you have a very strong immune system... Oh, thank you for the bit.
Cheered. X1.
So if, for example, if you get, like, chickenpox, for example... Right, you have a bunch of like chickenpox antibodies in your blood. The stronger your immune system, the more of those antibodies you're gonna have. God damn it, my fucking droid is just taking all the aggro, and if I try and fight back, I'm going to. Like that's how I've always seen it. Just. Like, if you're Force sensitive, like, everyone's born, they've got, like, you know, basic, whatever, like, they've got, like, however many midichlorians would have been, like, passed down from their parents, right? Like, you know, through, like, the umbilical cord and all that shit, because, like, isn't that, like, the thing, like, babies, like, share blood with their mother through the thing, whatever the fuck?
Yeah, and apparently sometimes that can go wrong, and the mother's body, like, starts seeing the fetus as a parasite.
Oh boy. I mean, it's not wrong.
No, it's not, but, you know,
yeah,
it's bad for both of them because, you know, now you have a dying thing inside of you.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
Yeah. So if we basically think of it this way, so, like, if you're Force sensitive, then you're born, and everybody has midichlorians. Everybody in the galaxy is connected to the Force somehow, to a different degree, right? So, you're born, you get some midichlorians into your blood via the umbilical cord, and if you're Force sensitive, then the Force is connected with you, and it's being sent through those midichlorians. Those midichlorians are getting more Force... like, more connection to the Force, basically like a stronger Wi-Fi signal, which allows them to propagate in your blood easier and just multiply. So, and that goes from there. If you, sorry, I'm trying to, like, just in my brain trying to keep track of what the fuck I'm doing in game and remember what the fuck's going on. So, like, if you are born to parents that aren't Force sensitive, then it's going to be a lower chance, because even if the Force does try and connect to you with a strong connection, if you just don't have any fucking midichlorians, they're not going to be able to pick up that signal as easy as someone who has parents who have a strong connection. So parents that have a strong connection, they've already got a shit ton of midichlorians that have propagated in their blood. So those midichlorians will then go into your blood as you're being gestated. And even if the Force doesn't really give a fuck about you, you still have like a shit zillion fucking Wi-Fi antenna in your blood that are going to pick it up way easier. You know, basically it's like a cascade at that point. It's dominoes. So like, you know what I mean? So like that's kind of how it's going, at least as far as like as far as I'm aware from like how Star Wars works. Like, and if someone's kind of weak in the Force, it's more just like either the Force itself has told them to fuck off, because the Force is a conscious thing. Like, the Force has a will. Han is a Corellian, yes. The Force has a will. So even if you have, like, all the fucking, like, midichlorians in the universe, if the Force thinks you're a sack of shit, the Force ain't gonna do you no favors. You may be able to use the Force to a limited degree if you have a shit ton of midichlorians through genetics, but the Force ain't gonna go out of its way to give you any favors. Like, you can do some Force pushes, some fucking mind tricks, whatever, but, like, you ain't never gonna be more than a mediocre Jedi if the Force thinks you're a sack of shit. Like, unless, of course, you go to the dark side and you start bending the Force over and making it do what you want.
Master Jedi, what brings you to our small corner of Republic space? This is such a great honor.
Like fucking, God, someone, I don't remember if this was a book or, like, someone else, but someone said that, like, the light side of the Force is like tending a garden. You put down the fertilizer, you encourage it, you allow it to grow. The dark side is then making that, the dark side is then, oh god, what's the term when you, I've forgotten the fucking thing already. Like, what's the thing like with a garden where you force it to grow a certain way for your benefit? Yeah, and that's why Anakin was so stronger. Yes. I'm sorry, what?
I do not know.
There's a term for it. It's like fucking like you trim tree, like you prune a tree, tree's limbs so that like basically the tree like realizes, okay, well, if I grow my limbs out in this direction, then like they're just going to get cut off and it's going to be shitty, so the tree's other limbs are going to be like, okay, well, then we'll grow in this way. Like, yeah. Like, light side is allowing a garden to grow. Dark side is making a garden grow a certain way. Like creating like growing an azalea bush versus doing topiary. What the fuck? What the fuck is happening on my phone? Okay. Fucking nothing important.
Even a forgotten planet can harbor dark secrets.
Oh, whatever brings you here, I suggest you don't stay long. We barely got stores enough for our station soldiers, much less visitors.
The guy literally just telling me to fuck off. We don't got food, fuck off.
For a half-week's salary.
If the outpost's in trouble, I'd be happy to help.
I just might take you up on that. Our bases here are far from self-sufficient. We're not farmers, and there's no existing infrastructure here to work with. We're at the mercy of our supply ships. And this one's just went nose down in some of the worst territory on Terrace.
Where's the ship? I don't care if it's at the bottom of a swamp.
The Republic thanks you for your service. Our men tried to reach the ship once, but they turned back after taking serious casualties. They said it's more than just rat ghouls, but couldn't make an ID.
Oh man, I bet it's the Sith. Oh shit.
Across the base. She's got the exact coordinates of the crash.
Yeah, it's like using GMOs, that's it. It's genetically modifying the fucking garden to suit your needs. Like, neither is inherently bad. It's just that if you let the garden grow naturally, it'll be a lot healthier, I guess, is the word, I guess. Like, it'll grow the way it's supposed to, and you can just passively benefit from it. Whereas if you fucking genetically modify the fuck out of it, yeah, you gotta keep it under control, otherwise you could get some unintended circumstances, or if you do it in a really dumb way. And honestly, we see that a lot with the Force. Like, the Jedi kind of just allow the Force to, like, push them along, and while they do passively benefit from it, the Force doesn't really do the Jedi very many favors. Meanwhile, the dark side, they keep a close grasp on that shit. They're like, no, this shit doing what we tell it to. And if they fuck up and allow it to go out of control, or they push it too far, it bounces the fuck back and kills them. That's what happened to Plagueis.
I see your infection is progressing. Hold still while I take samples for analysis.
It's a weird fucking
While I
droid
transmit
model.
the data to Dr. Cell, there are some questions I should ask. Do you have any of the following symptoms? Dizziness, fever, shortness of breath, and inexhaustible hunger for sentient flesh?
Now that you mention it...
I could go for a Nerf burger. That doesn't count, right?
I will note it on your chart. Here's Dr. Cell.
Good news. Your antibody count is off the charts. I'll start work on a vaccine immediately. You are remarkably brave. Our progress has just jumped forward by years. While you recuperate, I'm going to transmit the usual secrecy agreements. Just use your thumbprint to sign on the sensor.
I'm not exactly clear on what you're talking about.
This is standard procedure when the Republic develops biotech with...
Oh my fucking god, the Republic's gonna sell the vaccine!
Republic soldiers first, and when it's proven, sell it to colonists. Until then, it's under wraps.
Oh my fucking god, the Republic is so corrupt!
Oh, selling it instead of handing it out for free.
She literally just like, okay, I'm just gonna need you to sign this NDA, we're going to develop it for the Republic's troops, and then we'll sell it to the colonists.
I'm guessing you have the option of saying, fuck no.
Yeah, the light side option is like, no, fuck you, it goes to everyone.
Lives will be lost while this profit is being made.
Tell me something I don't know. Every week we hear another Rakul horror story. But every colonist on the planet is going to want this vaccine. How do I tell my superiors we gave up that kind of money?
Fucking, you tell them that if they don't, I'm gonna stab them with my lightsaber, that's how. I seem quite proud about this universe, always supposed to be boogie about the... Well, see, the thing is with Star Wars is that it's like... I mean, if you saw my High Republic video, like, fucking, like, I put it the best there. It's like, Star Wars is a fucking canvas. It's got, like, it's got general rules, it's got a general concept, and it's got the way things work. And it extends infinitely in every direction. If you think of, like, the original movies as just the center of the canvas, you can go up, down, left, right, past, present, future at the same time. Like, you can go whichever direction you want. And if there's an area of if there's a story you want to tell, there is somewhere in Star Wars you can tell it. And so long as you don't break the rules of the galaxy, you can do anything. And it's honestly one of my favorite fucking universes. Because, like I said, you can do anything. You want to tell a story about some backwards people with fucking sticks and stones technology? You can have a planet of primitives, or you can, like,
Scorpion cheered X100. I've enjoyed.
And you could you can tell that story. And if you want, you can, like, rope in some people. Like, some of the best stories don't contain Jedi at all. Like, you can have Lovecraftian horror in Star Wars. You can have zombies. You could have fucking monsters. You can have dragons. There's 10 flavors of dragons in Star Wars. Like, fuck.
If you get a sample to the Jedi, I bet they'd find someone to make it fast.
I'll keep that in mind. We'll get this cure out one way or another. Thanks for putting yourself on the line for this. Would have taken years to do it the safe way. I don't know if Taurus will ever be what it was, but now, at least, there's hope.
That was easy to convince her not to do a war crime. If only all war crimes were this easy to stop. Oh god. Hey Mizzy, you wanna hear something extremely fucked?
Sure.
You know who committed all the war crimes in the Clone War?
The Jedi?
Yep! Well, the Republic, but yeah. Like, there are, like, 7 examples in the show itself of fucking Jedi violating surrender laws. Like, every time the fucking Separatists surrendered, it was, like, legit. Like, okay, yeah, we surrender, you got us. Every time the Anakin, Obi-Wan, or any of the Jedi surrendered, there was always a fucking, like, bomb or some bullshit set up to fucking, like, negate the surrender and turn it around. every time. Like, honestly, like...
For the most part, didn't they surrender to droids, though?
No. Very often, they would surrender in order to make the commander who was flesh and blood come out and then kill him. Like, there's a big thing in the prequel. Like I said, in the prequels, like, the Republic and the Jedi are very much set up to be hypocrites. Like, the Confederacy are not the bad guys. They are a backstory to tell the story of the fall of a corrupt government. Like, it's actually kind of neat.
This all better, huh? Usually people are happy if I come to make things better.
Yeah, season 7, episode 8, right there.
It just called to say you're retrieving our supplies, for which, by the way, I and the rest of the troops here humbly thank you. But I don't want Commander Fat Pants to think it means he gets away with this. Steal from your troops, waste Republic money bringing in silks and wine.
Yo, what?
And it's fine, because some wandering Jedi will happen in to save you.
What the f... Okay, straight up, there isn't this level of corruption on the fucking Empire side of this game. Holy shit. Good Jedi like Obi-Wan are the exception and not the rule. Yeah, Jedi like Obi-Wan and Anakin are the exceptions. Like, holy shit. Like, it's actually ridiculous, like, how fucking evil, like, outright the Jedi are at some points. Like, it is kind of silly, but, like, even here, like, right here, like, I just wandered in, it's like, oh, yeah, there's some supplies missing, and he's like, oh, yeah, no, the commander's been, embezzling money, importing silks and wines from Alderaan, just, like, this level of incompetence and corruption, like, does not exist on the Empire side. If you play Empire side of this game, it's like, glory to the Empire, we'll protect our people and we'll defeat the Republic scum. And then you play Republic side and it's like, yeah, the commander took a bunch of our troops out back and shot him in the back of the head. What the fuck?
I didn't come here to get yelled at. Then let me be straight. Getting our supplies would be a great help, but pulling Commander Gardet from his position would be the best help of all. I said over and over that the ship needed repairs. The left stasis generator was loose, and the hyperdrive motivator was seeping fluid. But Gardet had already spent our allotted maintenance budget on himself.
Putting his men at risk for his own indulgences is a grievous
like, holy shit, man, like...
And then some. But he simply slashed the rations budget in half and figures it's over. The men are starving. And starving men don't hold up well against creatures where one tiny scratch could lead to a base-wide epidemic.
What in the actual fuck?
If you can take this holo camera out to the crash site, you could get the evidence I need to get him court-martialed.
When you've put it that way, how can I refuse?
Thank you. If you take holopics of the engine, I can show that the documented lack of repair... The most important thing is the supplies, though.
God, man, like, straight up, the Republic just... The Republic deserves to lose. Like, holy shit. Oh. Can you choose your race? Yeah, you can choose your race. Actually, oh fuck, we're coming right up on like... Oh fuck, we are actually past 3 hours.
You are cleared for the following
shit. Alright, well, you know, I need to go do some stuff, so... But yeah, you could... Yeah, I've got Twi'leks, I got a bunch of shit. I got Mira Luca. You can play as a Sith, like... do I think Star Wars like universe possible in real life in the far future? Probably in the far future, yeah, but we need to be a definite, like, almost post-scarcity. Hello. What did you do? You fucking goober. I know. Is Mando an option? When will I stream next? I mean, I'm gonna stream tomorrow, but it won't be this. I'm gonna be streaming XCOM tomorrow. Not Chimera Squad, but XCOM 2, because I got given a bunch of Star Wars mod packs. I do want to stream this more, specifically my Jedi Knight.
No, so do you still have the issues with these games and the fact that, like, freaking the music is copyright stuff?
Oh yeah, no, like this is going to get like fucking muted on Twitch and no monetization on YouTube, but at the very least, my stream channel hasn't unlocked monetization, so it doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, like I have a Sith, This is a cyborg right here, but like she's got a helmet on. Also, if you play a bounty hunter, you could become a Mandalorian. Because remember, Mandalorian's not a race. There's a Miraluka. Another cyborg. I don't like this character, but it's my first one. Most of my characters wind up being humans, honestly. This one's a Marilyn, the green ones with the like Barasofi tattoos. Another Mandalorian though. Got my Twi'lek. Another Twi'lek. Another Miraluka. What other races do I have to work with here, actually? It's not a race. It's a culture. Like they adopt people. Let's see. Who do I have to? Yeah. Let's see. So like base races, like okay. So like I've got. So there's Nautiloans. There's Miraluka. Iridonian Zabrak. Dathomiri Zabrak. Chiss. Cathar. Togruta. Miralans. Sith. Humans. Cyborg. Yeah, I need to unlock a lot of these, honestly. I really want to unlock the Togruta. Like, but it's like, I also really don't want to have to, like, then pay cartel coins to fucking, like, switch the race, you know? Of the existing character, because I don't want to just make a new character just for the race. Or Django being changed to... No, I wasn't mad about Django being changed to human. I was mad about them stripping away his Mandalorian heritage. Because, remember, the Fett clan basically founded the Mandalorian culture as it exists now. Like, Cassius Fett united all the clans as, oh, fuck. Was it Mandalore the Redeemer? Hang on, let me double check. Come on, new tab. Cassius Fett. Or is it Mandalore the Invincible? Shit. Let me Google this real quick. Mandalore the Ultimate. Fuck me. Yeah, so Cassius Fett, basically, he united all the clans. The major race? There is no major race. Mandalore is a culture. It is a culture. So there was the ancient Tong species that were a sort of kind of semi-human race on Coruscant, which is a human home planet. They fought the Zell, which evolved into the humans of the modern Star Wars. The Tong fucked off, found Mandalore, they created the original Mandalorian culture, it started evolving over time, adopted other races into their culture, created kind of a proto-Mandalorian culture, and then Cassius Fett came along, became Mandalore the Ultimate, united all the clans to create the first real Mandalorian crusade, basically created Mandalorian culture as it exists as we know it, and basically a Fett has been Mandalore on and off, like, at least once every era. Like, making Django not a Mandalorian is erasing the foundation of Mandalorian culture. Like, even if you have it so that he was adopted into the clan, that still counts, because Mandalorians don't count bloodlines. In fact, the majority of Mandalorian families don't even bother having biological children. Mandalorians are also one of the few cultures in Star Wars that have zero fucking problem with gay people. Like, Mandalorians literally say gay rights. Like, straight up. Like, it doesn't matter if you're straight, gay, fucking whatever the fuck you are in Mandalorian culture, so long as you raise strong children, who gives a shit? Whether those children come from your dick or someone else's dick and you find it later, doesn't fucking matter. Like, you know, like, Django doesn't need to be born a Mandalorian, he just needs to be a Mandalorian. Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to equip this one power I have for my character.
But yeah, like, fucking... Like, if you want to say that Django was not born Mandalorian, Okay, fine. Doesn't matter. But he is a Mandalorian. Like, it's really stupid, and it feels like Disney is just trying to strip away the original Mandalorians in order to enforce their dumbass new Mandalorians, the ones that are pacifists and pussies. Like, I'm kind of hoping that the Mandalorian as we know it from the Disney Plus series is kind of like them course correcting that back to what it should be. So, but yeah, so that's all I gotta talk about. You guys got me on another fucking tangent. I am gonna stream more of this. I just don't know when. Honestly, like, I am gonna start streaming more during the week, but what I do each day, I'm probably not gonna know until I'm about to do it. So, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, so that's watching, everybody. Oh boy, and of course the stream VOD's going to be up on my other channel, my Nozz Streams channel, like right now, because I'm just gonna hit the upload button, and whenever it's done, it's done. So bye, everybody.